Evening, SRA Nation, and welcome to season number 15. Round number 1, we are back for the summer. We have got one heck of a season coming our way. All eyes will go to the gantry light. Green flag drops and we are racing. That's going to be a very, very good stop.
He's going to edge him.
We've got two generations of Ferraris going side by side.
Goes to the outside. Very late break to the outside.
What is going to happen?
What is happening?
Trying to hold on to it. Free abreast for a square.
Alexis looking racy.
He's gonna hold him tight.
Oh my God.
And we're off and away for SRA.
Phew, long wait, long season, but we are here, Division 2, for the final time this, not just this season, but for this year. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Anton Rishich. I'm your host for the final time this year, joined by Donovan Colton with me, commentating Division 2. And first of all, I must say, what a pleasure, what a ride it has been commentating this division, Donovan. I mean, I feel like everything that we wanted from racing, we've gotten. Everything we asked for, we had, and we have one more race to cap it off. Are you excited? How are you feeling, man?
I'm excited. I am looking forward to hopefully a race without any server issues. I don't want to commentators curse it, but
Amen.
Yeah, we have some exciting battles going on. Obviously, our server issues last week were, made for an interesting race, but yeah, we got an exciting race ahead of us.
Yeah, if you were here with us last week, we had a couple of hiccups. Some could say it was an entertaining stream. For others, it was a very long and gruesome stream. I'm kind of torn in between the two. Of course, I love being here and enjoy putting on a show for everybody who is not racing on Wednesday nights. But I gotta say, I mean, I was able to finish my project right after it, so at least that got done. But it was a long wait. Of course, it's not something you see very often. Once again, we don't want it to happen, especially this round, considering that there's a few championships at play here at Misano. But before we move on to the championships, of course, we are racing at Misano. It's going to be our final racetrack of the season. And once again, we are driving another MotoGP related circuit, which I am sure Riley Greer is absolutely what's the word? I can't make another mistake with spreading legs moment. That's not going to be a good thing for this season. But I can imagine Riley Greer is foaming at the mouth at racing here because MotoGP is his heart and soul, and Misano is another one of those tracks. Very, very tricky on the track limits. So turn 1 and 2 is very, very deceptively difficult chicane right here. You want to get on the curbs at turn 1 and on turn 2. You can honestly cut too much at turn 2 and it's going to invalidate your lap right then and there. So don't do that. But some cars, of course, can also blow up on those curves. Turn 3, kind of not really a corner, although it is a corner. It does have obviously an angle of rotation and degree of turning. However, it is all flat out heading to turn 4. Very hard braking zone into probably the hardest complex on the calendar, or on this track. Turns 4, 5, and 6, very, very difficult. Turn 7 is non-existent. I don't even know why that's there. It's basically a straight. But heading into turn 8, turn 9, turn 10, and sector 2, a lot of time can be made up here, especially with the trail braking heading into turn 8. And then it's going to be a lot of opportunities in the race for some drivers in turn 10, I believe. It's going to be tricky braking zone even in a hot lap section, but with the racing, side by side on lap 1, can get tricky. Heading onto the back straight, cars like the Lexus, I know Ethan Marvin's going to be also foaming at the mouth like Riley Greer is about racing at Misano, because that Lexus is going to eat people alive on the back straight. It reaches a top speed of about 266, 267 kilometers an hour, as opposed to, actually, I believe it's 257. But it absolutely just monsters out of turn 10, and it gets to turn 14 rather quickly. But heading into turn 12, turn 13 is very tricky considering that it's a very high speed braking zone. But also you want to carry a lot of min speed heading to turn 14, and then the hairpin itself is very tricky. that you can really run the car out wide and punish yourself by getting that very, very nasty track limit warning on exit of turn 13 into 14. Heading into 15 and 16, the last 2 corners of the track, really want to get some good lap time here by keeping the speed pinned through 15 heading into 16. Don't run it too wide because then you'll have a Spinella moment, and then also just get another track warning. So yeah, a lot of stuff to look out here, Donovan, for Donovan. But another thing that to consider is obviously the dynamic we have with the drivers and whatever they're competing for. So Donovan, we didn't meet before the stream, and we made up many different scenarios of what could happen. So talk us through what could happen.
Yeah, well, yeah. So there's a lot going on here because we have 2 drop races from what happened at Coda in round 2 of this season. But yeah, right now we got Pauly leading the championship by only 2 points. So basically, in order for Pauly to get it, he'll need to finish P4 and above, and then ahead of Anderson, and that's because Anderson has some really good drop races. He's had an extremely consistent season in finishing in very good positions. So he's got a lot to hold back on with drop races. For Anderson to win the championship, he needs to finish ahead of Pauly. If Pauly is in P4, if he does not finish in the P4 and Anderson finishes ahead of Pauly, essentially just wins the championship. So Amos pretty far, back. He's 35 back. So I mean, he's pretty much out of it. I think we decided he was pretty much out of it for the win, but P2 is possible, and that's again because of Brian's insane drop races. So yeah, going for the silver championship. This is also very complicated. Technically, we have 4 drivers in contention, but it's really mostly just between the top 2 with Zipperburn Jr. and Ethan Marvin. And for Marvin to win, he needs to outscore Zipperburn Jr. by 9 points, essentially. And Marvin's looking pretty quick today. So, I mean, he's the fastest on the leaderboard out of all of D2. That's out of the gold drivers as well. So he's going to be, one to look out for sure. So yeah, it's a pretty, it's a pretty complicated situation, but it's going to be exciting, I think, for sure. For the team championship, this one's a little bit more stable for the Lamborghinis. Brian Anderson and Matthew Higgs, 55 points ahead of the Nissans with Philip Mueller and Thomas Dahlhausen. Basically, if the Lambos score less than 116 points, which would be, I don't have the points total at the top of my head. The Nissans need 172 points. So that's what we came up with. So essentially, if the Nissans are, get like P3 and P5 above, and then the Lambos score less than 116, then they're looking pretty good. But so that one's a little bit tougher, but still not impossible. So yeah, should be interesting to find out though.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an absolute belter of a final race for us here in Division 2, Season 16. Talks, of course, about next season continuing. I believe, as of right now, I mean, it really depends on the participation we get, but, I don't know about you, Donovan. I would love to commentate Division 2 again next season, but, of course, that is contingent upon the participation of our fellow drivers that you see on screen at the moment. Right now, we are closing up on practice being over, so the couple of the drivers are, out getting some feeler laps done. Of course, right now we have Thomas Olhausen on track. He's been obviously known for taking his reconnaissance laps after the race, so maybe he's just getting accustomed to the track, goes a little bit wider, so that's going to be track limits, but here, practicing a pit entry. That's something to talk about, though, for sure. I think the pit entry here is one of the trickier ones, of course, at least the first part, right? Everything else after is a bit more linear in terms of that regard, but it really just depends on how much speed you're carrying into the corner, right? Just obviously don't crash the car, and you'll be fine. But also, It's a very long pit lane, so the undercut is only really going to be worth it if you have that tire advantage of at least 3, 4, 5 laps, right? If you have 2 laps undercut, it might be good if you're really close to the car behind. But of course, the standard strategy is always to if someone you're racing pits behind you, cover them off the next lap. That's the easiest strategy you can always go for. And I guess with our silver leader right now, Zip Jr., the first on track, going to have the clear road ahead of him. Right behind him is Riley Greer and Bush Racing. Talked about him at the beginning of the commentary section of the race today. But yeah, it's going to be a tricky race today. It's not many. Of course, it may seem easy on paper, but for a lot of these drivers, it's one of the most key races of the season.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's just an interesting track to race. I really like this track. I don't like the pit lane. As you were saying, it's such a long pit lane, and yeah, and with the pit entry too, it's a bit famous if you know the SRA lore with pit is closed. But
Our very own
um,
Jacob Rogers of OBDA.
yeah, OBDA. But yeah, it's also it's also annoying because it's one of the ones where the pit line is not where it like seems it is, because you could like push it so much further, and that always bothers me. I don't know if that's just my own OCD, but there's so many times where I've seen like drivers look like they sped into the pit lane because they crossed the line, but the game registers it after whatever it says it. Anyway, we're getting on to our first banker laps with the silver drivers as we watch Zipperburn take us through this. Yeah, originally MotoGP track, so it's got a lot of interesting mid-speed turns. I feel like that's something that goes along with MotoGP tracks. This bit is really difficult for me, at least in the cars that I like.
I hated it.
Yeah, it is. It is really annoying in the Ford.
Yeah, so I've driven the Ford for this my basically third season driving it now. I've almost clocked 5,000 laps in. I mean, typically a thing with the Ford is that it has functioning traction control, so you can just out of any corner just absolutely slam the throttle and it'll cooperate, right? But out of that corner specifically, of course, you don't want the TC bogging you down all the time, so you have to run lower TC. But if you do that, the Ford naturally has a lot of wheel spin, right? So you kind of have to like actually drive the car, I guess. So
Yeah.
it's not as easy as it normally is.
Imagine.
Right? Imagine driving the car
having
normally.
throttle control.
LOL. Yeah, I know, but yeah, I mean, it's like, oh, my steak is too buttery, my lobster is too juicy, But yeah, I mean, it's not easy in any car, realistic. I mean, actually, I think the 296 is probably completely flat the whole time. I did a few laps today, just testing it out because I missed driving the cars already. I have a chronic addiction to sim racing, but. Yeah, Zip Jr. to the top of the board with a 34.822. Of course, first one across the line. Riley Greer right behind him, only 63 thousandths behind. Where's that going to put the rest of the field? A few drivers invalidated their first flying laps. Rowdy Burns, also known as now Sean Curcio, I believe, is in P3. Justin Seckham has returned for a race this season. Last one of the season, P4, and then Ethan Marvin already at the top of the 33.4. It's a pretty quick banker lap. I imagine Zip seeing that, just thinking, oh man, it's going to be a lot of damage limitation.
1.3 seconds behind on the banker lap. 33.4 is not bad. I believe the fastest valid lap he put in practice is a 33.0, was it? Just barely a 33.0.
Somehow kept it valid there. He's about a 10.5 up, but Zig Zipburn Jr. is also about half a second up on his time. A lot of drivers are improving. This is going to be one of those laps around the circuit where obviously the first lap isn't going to be as fast as it normally is across many different racetracks, but the tires do get in a nice, Disneyland kind of window right between laps 2 and 4, I want to say. After that, it kind of just gets a little bit tricky. But it's just in general a little bit... you gotta find the right window of operation with these tires.
Was Ethan drifting kind of crazy
Oh my!
Oh my gosh!
Look at the slip angle on that one.
I
Oh
don't-
my god, he's still drifting.
Is this all connection, or is this actually drifting? Because
I think he's actually drifting. Because everyone else looked relatively fine, and here he looks more or less fine. And he's really up on his time. Oh, he just invalidates it on exit. It would have been a 33-1, which honestly probably could have taken him to the top. Probably had a provisional pole. But Dixon Jr. did improve. He's only 0.6 of a second behind Ethan Marvin. Kevin Nichols also technically in that fight for the silver title, but he's going to need an absolutely mega race result from himself, but also a very shocking result from Ethan Marvin, Dixon Jr., and Max Dix, who's also technically in the fight for that silver title.
Yeah. Max Diggs definitely need quite the crazy race. Kevin Nichols is not far behind Max Diggs as well, and yeah, like we said, mathematically in contention for that silver championship, but it would need to be a pretty crazy situation, and kind of counting on both Zipperburn and Marvin to have kind of stinkers of races.
Yeah, easier said
Marvin
than
not
done,
quite
of
as
course. I
up.
mean, there's a bunch of ifs and buts that can happen, but, you know, anything could happen in a racing, right? I mean, with this championship battle that we have, not just in silver, but in gold that we'll get to as soon as the gold drivers come out, it's kind of like an Abu Dhabi situation, right? Where, you know, with Lando, you know, having that, you know, nice point gap ahead of Max going to the final race, I believe it was 12 points. Oh my God, Ethan Marvin takes the curb, and that's what happens when, you know, the car just takes too much more than it can handle, right? So the Lexus just absolutely bouncing over that. And he was improving very slightly. Now he has to kind of rejoin right in front of Max Diggs in the car 156, who behind him will set a lap of about 8.5 tenths behind Ethan Marvin. So Ethan Marvin's still holding that provisional P1 for the silver drivers with his first banker lap. Kevin Nichols did improve to about 3.5 tenths behind him, holding that purple sector 1 at the moment with the 23.52. And then Ethan Marvin's right behind him with a 23.53 sector 1. So really all of his strength right now is in that sector 2. He's got a purple sector of a 37.15, but not everyone's actually pretty close to Ethan's sector times. It's just about getting the lap together, which again, easier said than done here, especially at Misano. It's very easy to invalidate, and I mean, with that it goes your lap time, right? So you only have 10 minutes to do it. You just got to do it when it counts.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Ethan not up on his time here. Yeah, a lot of people actually not up on their time. We got Riley Greer on a pretty big improvement. That should see him up a position or so. We got Justin Seckham in the pits really early. Wonder what happened there. Kevin Nichols does improve his time, but not his position. However, you know, improving your time is very valuable, because ideally as silver drivers, you want gold drivers in between you and your opponents. So, yeah, that you always take what you could, you know, everything that you could get when you're a silver driver.
Yep, you know, fortunately for this week at least, we have the equal qualifying conditions between the silver and gold drivers, so it's very important that Ethan Marvin gets a better time here. So going through sector 1, still about 1/10.5 up, so those tires are still gripping up. We see a couple of other drivers also improving right now. Riley Greer actually boasting that purple sector 1 time with 23.49, but not actually improving on his delta, approaching that turn 9 and 10 complex, actually turn 8 and 9, given that the track map likes to say that the little kink on the straight between turn 6 and turn 7 is a turn, and in fact is not. To everybody's surprise, but yeah, going through that complex, it's very tricky. You know, you want to get a good exit for the back straight, of course, because you know you have all that speed that you got to carry all the way to turn 13 and 14 here, and he does go wide here, and it's going to let the car of Kevin Nichols behind pass, and I think the Riley's going to park it for this qualifying session. Ethan Marvin still improving 2/10 up on his current time, which would put him at about 33.28. Which is very good considering the times that D2 drivers have been putting on all week. But Ethan Marvin does want better than that. He knows he's faster. He feels faster. He's improving still. 4/10 up on his time at the moment, which would put him at a 33.0. Can he find that little bit more improvement? Doesn't die over the curb there through turn 14, heading into 15. Does he keep it valid on exit? Is very important, and he does keep it valid, but it's only going to be about a 2.5 improvement, but still a very sizable improvement, putting him at a 33.232, which is going to be clear of the rest of the silver field at this time.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like if he has the fuel, he got over the line for one more lap, which is definitely pretty big if he's got the fuel for it, if he's got the tires. If Burn Jr., oh, it looks like he went wide there. He says, oh no, it's
yeah, he kept it valid at least, but he did lose
he's valid.
all of
He's
that
just
time
down
that
on
he
his
gained.
time. Oh, Ethan Marvin invalidated his lap, so it looked like on the exit. I don't know what turn that was actually that he invalidated, but yeah, so he's in the pits.
Right, so Rowdy Burns, Sean Curcio still on the track. Currently improving his time by about 2.5 which would actually shoot him up a couple of positions from P7 to P5 as things stand. However, you still have this section of the track to negotiate. The McLaren pretty strong here. It's very planted through the high speed, and of course the low speed has very, very strong traction out of corners. Very, very strong torque from the low speed, and he does lose that advantage that he had on his time. Can he get some time back in the last corner? Carries the speed through the curb, over the curb on the exit. Does gain a little bit back, but it's only going to be an improvement of about 0.5, but it's going to shoot him up 2 spots nonetheless. And ladies and gentlemen, that's what fine margins mean here in Division 2 and SRA. I mean, we've seen all season that the qualifying here has been nothing short of absolutely stupendous. It's been so close all season long. Can the goal drivers continue that form of close competition? I think so. I mean, we've seen
Sure
some very close battles. Can anyone challenge Ethan Marvin's 33.2? Is my question.
Yeah, that's not a bad time. It's a little over 0.2 off of his PB in practice. However, the next I believe there are only, actually no, that would still be the top time in the practice on the hot lap leaderboard for practice. So yeah, that's a pretty good time. We'll see if anybody could challenge. If anybody could pull out some PBs in quali, that's always awesome when that happens.
I believe this is the man to watch because as things stand, I think Paulie's going to be feeling the pressure of Brian behind. Brian having, of course, one of the most consistent seasons I've ever seen from any driver. Of course, having a drop race of 85 points, that's being a P4 finish, is your worst race of the season. I mean, that's pretty rare. We do have the 2 drop races, but even then, you can't discount the fact that Brian Anderson has been very consistent all season, but he's got one more chance to show that he is worthy of a Division 2 championship, which is going to send him back to D1. So he did have a small spell in D1, which I'm sure he enjoyed being back in D2, fighting at the top. I mean, as anyone would, right? But being in D1 is the name of the game here. You gotta be in it to win it, So Brian Anderson on his lap right now. Can he negotiate the turn 7 braking zone well? Gets on the throttle pretty well. Uses all the track on exit. Lamborghini pretty nice about the traction control on exit through the slowest corners. Let's see how he goes through turn 8 and 9 here. It's very tricky. Does miss the apex ever so slightly, but gets on the power quite nicely indeed there. Now it's a long run on the back straight, heading through the triple right complex we have. It's not the same as we have the triple left in Turkey, for example, if you know of that, but you're still pulling quite a few G's here, especially in the Lambo. It's going to have a lot of min speed through this corner, specifically over the curb onto the apex of the corner right here. Can he hit it? He does get on the curb, gets on the power nicely, moves over to the right, needs to get full power, stay on the throttle, Brian. Tiny bit of a lift there. There's going to be, of course, a banker lap for Brian Anderson. It's going to be not as big of a push lap. Philip Mueller going to P6 at the moment, Doug Mitchell to P4. So a lot of drivers are putting okay times in terms of position, but it's about a second off of what Ethan Marvin's time is right now. Selena Boonster right behind Brian Anderson, not just on track, but also on timing screen at P7.
Yeah, Ethan's time holding up well for that for these initial banker laps, but this is one where the second lap is typically much faster than your first lap. This is definitely a track that takes a second for your tires to get in a good window. Even with these hot temperatures, it looks like we're 28 air 34 track, so it's a bit toasty out there. But yeah, Doug Mitchell though, the fastest of the initial banker laps. He's about a 10th and a half up on his time. He's losing a little bit through this tricky right-hander. This is definitely a tricky part of the track in the Lexus, this final sector, at least compared to like the Mustang. At least those are basically my only two cars to compare on this track. But
yeah, wouldn't you know, Mr. Four drive-throughs in a single endurance race?
Hey.
I mean, you had to have expected it for me to mention it, by the way, right? You had to know. It was gonna happen.
My only drive-throughs.
Yeah, so we talk about the team championship. The competitors right now, Philip Mueller and Thomas Olhausen, in P8 and P9. So, of course, they're going to have to worry about Matt Higgs in P15 and Brian Anderson in P3 already. So P3 is going to be exactly what Brian Anderson needs to round off the championship. That is, if Paule finishes behind him. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be qualifying for the 80s, and we're only 4.5 minutes to go as the time ticks down for a final qualifying session of the season. Not many drivers are actually improving. Jason Allen's about 4.5 tenths up, which would put him up a few spots, possibly into the top 7. Who else are we looking out for? Oh, I actually wanted to mention this inter-team rivalry we have going on. Mike Gino and Jason Allen, very close on points. I believe they're actually right next to each other in the driver standings. The team standings, of course, are a bit farther back from the top of the pack. However, these two have been kind of going at it the entire season. You know, this will be the final race to decide who is the teammate that sucks, right, Donovan? You know, because right now Gino's got the advantage, but can Jason Allen bite back in the last race of the season?
Yeah. We'll see who does suck after all. But yeah, Avos Movo, he's trying to challenge that time that Ethan Marvin put in. That is still holding up very well. So is Nichols' time there. After these initial laps, both times still holding up very well. So, but there's a fair amount of green on the timing boards. Yeah, so Ferrari coming into the triple right-hander here, which I think, I haven't driven the Ferrari here personally, but I feel like that's a bit of a easier car to maneuver these turns than the Lexus. And you know what? The Lexus at that sector might also just be a skill issue for me. I don't know why I struggle with that car. I always love going in the Ford in comparison, but he's going to come across line without an improvement there, so it looks like he's going to have time for at least 2 more.
That was very smooth sector 1 right there. He's actually up just enough to put him very close to Ethan Marvin's pole position time at the moment. Can he traverse this complex though? I tried out the Ferrari. It wasn't the best through this sector, but it does have that capability of keeping the throttle pinned, and he does invalidate in the middle of that corner. So it's going to be one less lap for Amos Movo, and it's going to be down to the wire for Amos here. But Brian Anderson in P5, where is Paulie Hartman? You can see him down in P20. That is not where he wants to be, considering that he is currently leading the championship by only 2 points. So he'd have to have an absolute mega race for himself. He would have to finish, like I said, P4, and have Brian Anderson finish behind him on track, which, as things stand, Brian Anderson, we know he has very fantastic race pace. So can almost pull it out of the bag?
He was almost a second up on his time and lost like 3 tenths in the final turn alone. So he's definitely got some pace left in. He might been having a little bit of a hard time finding his footing in this qualifying session, but he's able to put in a decent time to put him up into P7. But yeah, I'm sure he's going to be looking for more.
Definitely going to be looking for more, as he is little bit down on his time, but he does have the luxury of the slipstream ahead of him from Mason Moffitt. Mason Moffitt currently sitting in that P21 position with a 134.8, so it's not the best qualifying session for the McLaren driver. However, all eyes are on Paulie Hartman right now. Amos Movo back on his final lap here, still up on his delta, so can he keep it on track this time? Going through turn 6, does keep it valid this time, does have a good exit. He's actually tracking to be on provisional pole as things stand, about a 10th and 800ths up, which would put him above Ethan Marvin at a 33.21. Does have a pretty decent turn 7 there, does have some time fall away. Brian Anderson in P3 now. That's going to be very vital for his championship hopes, as Paulie Hartman is still in P7, but he is not improving. Paulie Hartman's not improving. And where is he on track? He's about to enter the final corner, so is Paulie going to have enough time to make another lap? 8 seconds to go. He does invalidate, but does he get the token invalid next lap?
Yeah,
he does, because he's braking on the line. He's gonna he impedes Mason Moffitt there a little bit, and possibly Wilder Vargas, but all eyes are on Amos Mova here. Can he take a provisional pole? Can he take a pole position for, it seems to be, I think, the 3rd or 4th time this season? Can he take it away from Ethan Marvin? All the jubilation after the silver qualifying session ended for Ethan Marvin may just end here. It's going to be close. It's going to be tight, but Amos Movo all the way to the line takes provisional pole with a 33.182, just 50 thousandths above Ethan Marvin. So the Lexus that was reigning supreme the entire week on the hot lap leaderboard is dethroned for, it looks like the first time for Ethan Marvin. Felt like he had possibly some competition this week, but Doug Mitchell was on a good lap, but not improving too much. It's going to be P5 for Doug Mitchell, but Brian Anderson actually up on his time a little bit, entering through Sector 3 and through the penultimate corner, heading to the final corner. It's not going to be much of an improvement. It's definitely not going to improve him past Ethan Marvin, but it's going to be a nice improvement on the timing sheet, and he does fall away a little bit heading through the final corner, but nothing crazy there. But Thomas Olhausen and Philip Miller actually tied on lap time, so listen, I mean, if you those are the best kind of teammates you're just even on pace with. I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, what an electric qualifying session. Brian Anderson in P3, Paulie Hartman in P9. So the work is going to be cut out for our championship leader. Of course, Paulie Hartman leading Brian Anderson by only 2 points heading into the final race of the season. But before we do that, we're going to have a short message from the sponsors that keep our league running. So we will be right back.
A huge thank you to our SRA sponsors and title sponsors for supporting us here at SRA, as well as support from Documise, a modern business solution for product management. Go to documise.com to learn more today. And support from Retro Saga, a North American-based gaming company that provides accessories for your favourite classic systems, including Nintendo, Sega, PlayStation, and much more. Enhance your retro gaming experience today at retrosaga.ca. And a big thank you to our affiliates, Track Racer. Experience redefined gaming with Track Racer's high quality sim rigs and accessories. Use code SRATE at checkout to support us. Armamentario, a toolbox for ACC that will enhance your chance to win. Enjoy a fully customizable and enhanced HUD to change the way you experience ACC. AT 3D Sim Shop. Upgrade your sim racing experience today with premium 3D printed accessories featuring precision crafted magnetic shifters, sleek cable management solutions, versatile stream deck mounts, and immersive dashboard displays. Their innovative designs enhance performance and style, elevate every lap with top-tier quality and craftsmanship at at3d.net. Go Setups, premium esports setups for everybody. Use our affiliate link on our Discord and take your drive to the next level. Castle and Cauldron, a home-based crafting business specialising in handmade Harry Potter, Fantastic Beasts and Fairy World collectibles. Magic wands, potions, mini dioramas, wall decor, costumery, cosplay, and much more. Castle and Cauldron is where crafting meets the magical. Visit facebook.com/Castle Cauldron. And from KP Concepts, your source for custom automotive renderings, graphic design, and printing. We spend countless hours making you look all good for the spectacle. Check out kpconcepts.com for more.
And we are back with the session about to kick off for the final time this season. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Division 2, Season 16, Round 8. We are at Misano. You just saw qualifying. And one more time, we do have Amos Movo leading off of pole for, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Don. I think it's the third time this season, maybe fourth time. He got that pole, and
yeah.
Oh, I think it's 4 times.
Silverstone. Oh, is it 4 times?
I think so. Is that motion blur on? I didn't turn it on. Did you see
We
that?
even talked about that. Yeah, yeah. And I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, that
I
looks like
turned it
motion.
Oh god, that looked
Didn't
horrible with
apply.
DLSS.
Yeah, it
Hold
didn't
on.
apply the same.
Bear with me, folks. This is bad. Only external cams. I didn't even know that was a setting.
Wow.
Anyway, motion blur off and everything is normal with the world again. Anyway, Amos Movo, I believe for possibly the 4th time this season, taking his pole position, absolutely been electric this season in terms of qualifying, showing that he's got that D1 pace in Division 2. However, Ethan Marvin, first front row this season for the silver driver, and he's in contention for that silver championship. Once again, going over the possibilities for the championship this race, Ethan Marvin sitting at P2. He is only 8 points behind Dick Zipper Jr., who's sitting in P11. So honestly, not the worst qualifying for Zip there, but he's going to have a lot of work to do if Ethan Marvin can get ahead of Amos Movo or even get that race win. So if Ethan Marvin does finish ahead of him by 8 points, it's going to be all she wrote, right? So that silver championship looks pretty favorable for Ethan Marvin at the moment. In terms of the gold championship, Brian Anderson doing all he needs to do, and that's just to be ahead of Paulie Hartman. Right now, Paulie Hartman's lowest or highest drop race is only 57 points compared to Brian's 85 points. So Paulie needs to finish in P4 ahead of Brian Anderson, which, as things stand, is not looking likely for Paulie to be a champion. So Brian Anderson in the hot seat, looking to be a provisional champion if things stay the way they are. But of course, here at SRA, anything could happen. Anything can happen with the racing, right? So it's gonna be a whirlwind of emotions of racing. I imagine Amos Movo is gonna have to defend from Ethan Marvin for a while. I imagine Ethan's got some very strong pace, and the Lexus can absolutely pass the 296 at any given point on track. So it's gonna be very close. And of course, we cannot forget about the team championship. The Lambo boys of Brian Anderson and Matt Higgs leading that team championship almost from start to finish, but we had that one race in between where the Nissan guys were up by about 7 points. So can the Nissan drivers come back with a strong result? Of course, the Lamborghinis need to score at least 116 points if the Nissans get 172 points. But it's going to be a very, very tight battle for all 3 championships as Amos Movo leads around the final corner for the last time this year in Division 2. Of course, starting on pole, Ethan Marvin right next to him, and Brian Anderson, the championship contender with Paulie Hartman in P9. These drivers are about to kick off the final race of the season. We cross the green light, the green flag comes down. Amos Movo moves over to defend from Ethan Marvin, but Ethan Marvin gets a fantastic launch. Amos Movo sending it over the curbs. He's going to have a very clear shot at P1. Very, very close behind with P6 down. It's going to be side by side with a lot of drivers. Doug Mitchell and as Kevin Nichols, the second place silver driver at the moment, fighting for position, scrambling. The teammates going side by side. Oh, Thomas Olhausen and Philip Mueller. I believe that is going to be Philip Mueller moving up ahead of his teammate, and right behind him is Paulie Hartman. He really needs to make up some positions here and avoid any accidents, as well as Zip Jr. 2 spots behind him, and that's Matt Higgs going on the inside, fighting for that spot, and he goes past him. Paulie Hartman leaves the space, and Matt Higgs goes up the inside. It's going to be some bumping. That's going to be some teammate action for Brian Anderson, doing him a huge favor, and Paulie's not going to be happy, and the silver leader, Dick Zipper Jr., is right there behind to pick up the scraps from Paulie Hartman. They're going to be side by side. Paulie Hartman sends a little send up the inside of turn 9 there, keeps the position. So that's going to be P8, P9 on track for Paulie Hartman. So he is where he started, but Matt Higgs with a worldy move. Ethan Marvin not able to catch Amos Movo, but he's very close behind. That Lexus is prowling. It's prowling. It doesn't have the legs quite enough to catch the Ferrari down the straight. But if he stays close to him on the next lap, I believe we might see an overtake and a pass for the lead. Brian Anderson holding in P3. Doug Mitchell moving up into P4. Brian Anderson, of course, being exactly where he needs, like I mentioned, for that championship right now. And yeah, what an eventful lap one for all our title rivals.
Yeah, unfortunately looking mostly clean. Not a lot of contacts, which is always nice to see. But yeah, that is not the car that you want to see behind if you're Movo. A very hungry Lexus. And I'm wondering if I'm Ethan Marvin, if I'm even going to want to, you know, heavily, attack for P1. The biggest thing that I'm going to be wanting if I'm Ethan is just to have a really, clean race. He's got, a lot to play with. Side by side with through. On the inside is Paulie Hardman, and he's able to hold that. However, the Lamborghini behind of Jack Krause has so much pace on both of them, and he's going to go around the outside, it looks like, or at least they're three wide into turn 8.
Right in the middle. Oh my god.
That is not.
Jack Krause gets past both of them.
Clean. Yeah, huge from Jack Krause there. That was our Zandvoort P1 finisher, and yeah, that was amazing stuff from Jack Krause there. I can't believe they were totally clean there.
Yeah, so of course Zip and Paulie have their own championships to worry about, and Zip trying to get as close to Ethan Marvin as possible. Ethan Marvin needs to finish 8 points ahead of Zip Jr. to win the race, to win the championship for himself. But Paulie Hartman lost 2 spots from the start, and now he's got to worry about Selena Booster behind. That wasn't the best run there through the hip, and Selena's right behind him.
Yeah, it does not seem to be going too well here. It hasn't been easy for Paulie so far. Selena's going to have the inside, and they touch the C's part for the 2 McLarens. Oh, except it doesn't really. Which one was that?
Jason?
Was that Jason Allen?
That was Jason Allen. Mike Gino gets past him. Jason gets the worst of it all. Paulie Hartman does lose even more positions, and now his Wilder Vargas, as a result of it, Riley Greer gets past him. This is the worst case scenario for Paulie Hartman. He falls and falls and falls, and he's in the bottom 20 now. He's got to rejoin safely, of course, and he's going to pull over. Oh, no. Is this race over? Is this championship over for Paulie Hartman?
No. Say it isn't so.
He's collecting his thoughts, gathering himself after what just happened. The first 2-3 laps with Misano.
Oh my goodness gracious. That was crazy. There was so much happening there.
Oh, there's more action. Oh my god, there's so many cars getting hit. Curtis Lee fighting with RevCap, the Lamborghini versus the Lexus, Italian versus Japanese machinery. What has happened here at turn 7? Lambo looks to have gotten a pretty good exit. Right behind him is Sam Serino in the McLaren. What happened here? Oh, Sam Serino just absolutely sends it. Oh, that's unfortunate for Curtis Lee, but the story of the night, Paulie Hartman is out of the race completely. Ethan Marvin getting the purple lap time of 34.0, and all that means, honestly, Brian Anderson can just leave the race right now and wins the championship on merit by his drop race.
Can't imagine he's going to do that sitting
yeah, of course you want to take it on track, I think,
team championship battle. But now his focus can purely go on the team championship, and he doesn't have to make any too crazy of risks, because he's sitting in a great position in P3. He is 1.8 seconds behind the top 2, so they seem to be kind of pulling a bit of a gap for sure. But yeah, it's definitely, things just definitely got a lot easier for Brian Anderson.
Absolutely, but one man that is still keen on getting a season best result is Ethan Marvin. Of course, like I said, boasting that purple lap time. Does he have that purple pace for P1? At the moment, still in the slipstream of the Ferrari, but it's going to be incredibly difficult to stay with him, as the Ferrari just is faster seemingly everywhere else on the track where it needs to be apart from the straight. So as long as Amos Movo is within, or keeps Ethan Marvin outside of that slipstream, I believe it's pretty easy for Amos. Just keep your eyes ahead of you, keep your eyes on the road, race your own race. Ethan Marvin's got to race his own race, of course. He's obviously keen on getting that race win, such as any racing driver would be. But his current championship fight is with P10 Dixon Jr., who did gain a spot on the start, but it did lose out to Jack Krause in that tussle with Paulie Hartman. So, Ethan Marvin losing a little bit of time there. So the Lexus is losing a little bit of grip in those rear tires. Does this mean Brian Anderson can close it a little bit? So, of course, there's a very large gap. Amos Mogo getting that purple lap time now with 33.8. So, very strong pace from P1 and P2 at this point of the race.
Yeah, their last laps were a full second faster than Brian Anderson's lap. So, yeah, the top two cars are definitely cooking, and Anderson also has to worry about a hungry Lexus behind. That is Doug Mitchell, our last week's race winner. Graces us with his presence once more here at Misano. He's definitely, I'm assuming, arriving and driving.
He looks very close to the Lamborghini, and I can imagine as the Lexus just gets higher up the speedometer, it's just going to pull and pull and pull, and he's going to be alongside.
He's going to go for it.
Goodness, the Lexus goes up the inside. Brian Anderson doesn't need to fight for this position, but does. Bumps a little bit with Doug Mitchell, goes around the outside. Doug Mitchell holding that inside line, but gets done by Brian. But with the Lexus power on the back straight, Brian Anderson falling from P3 to P4. But again, Brian just needs to finish the race, right? I mean, he's already won the championship. It's just about finishing on the road and just, crossing the line as a champion. But he's also got to worry about the drivers in P6 and P7, right? Of course, their drop race of a team being 116 points. Can they outscore that is the question. So Doug Mitchell into the P3 position. That's going to be a Lexus 2-3 with a Ferrari P1 at the moment. And the Lambo falls to P4 from the podium position, Donovan.
Yeah. I mean, those Nissans back there are like, more of that, please. I'll have another. If Kevin Nichols wants to do anything similar, I'm sure they wouldn't complain. But Brian Anderson doesn't need to fight it too hard, and it didn't really seem like he did. He didn't cover off that inside at all. It is difficult to pass there, I feel like. Doug getting a much better exit out of turn 10, but that's kind of what you need to pass there, because it can be a little bit dangerous, because the first braking zone is not that heavy of a braking zone, really. And there's it's not a straight line. It may be floored, but you're doing a couple turns in the middle of that, so it could be a little bit difficult.
The Lexus can be a little bit oversteer. We see going for a bit of a drift break there. Douglas Mitchell and Lexus. I mean, that's going to be that rear acting up on it. With the tires already. Oh no, that is a team championship contender. Thomas Olhausen has spun around. What happened there? Was it Matt Higgs once again doing what he needs to do? Is that what happened? Maybe he just died on his own.
I don't think so. Yeah, it looks like he's so far back. I don't understand how that would be. That would be a little bit brutal if that was the case. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be just... He's going so slow. What happened?
He just braked on the racing line. I can only imagine might have been
hardware.
Maybe there was a bug on his lap or something, like a huge spider. I'm trying to think of the most random scenario. Maybe it was a tarantula crawling on his face.
Yeah,
of course he's in VR, so
it's
something.
Yeah, he's in VR, so my guess is it's most likely some weird VR thing, like lights needing to be on or some silliness like that. But
yeah, definitely.
Either way, that's super unfortunate, though.
However, that does promote Dick Ziprin Jr. another spot into P9. So maybe if Dick plays his cards right and Ethan doesn't play his cards right, we could see some rustling and tussling for the silver championship. Of course, Ethan being quite unlucky this season, but right now in the spot of his life, in that P2 position, very comfortable following Amos Movin, having Doug behind. Alexis following another Lexus, we'll probably see like slingshot speeds on the back straight. Matt Higgs goes wide. Could be another position for Zipper Jr. as the team championship contender gives the spot to Zip in P8. And right now, we mentioned that, of course, Ethan Marvin needs to outscore Zipperburn Jr. by 8 points. Or if they tie, Zipperburn Jr. has to finish, of course, I think they would have to finish, like I wrote in the thing, Donovan, I believe it's P8 or, P8.
P8.
Or P9.
Yeah.
If Marvin finishes P9, with the fastest lap, and then Zip finishes P11, it would actually be a 7-point gap and an 8-point gap with the fastest lap. But because we look at the results by countback from the overall championship, Ethan Marvin had more P8 or P9 finishes this season over Zipper Jr., which means the championship would go to Ethan Marvin. So a lot of fine margins here, ladies and gentlemen. We got still 48 minutes of this race to go, and Brian Anderson is not done with Doug Mitchell. Of course, the car is quick where it needs to be, but on the back straight, you just cannot do anything about that Lexus speed. So he's just relying on Doug to make a mistake, which is so hard to do in the Lexus. You just have so much time on the straights that you just make up. Look at this. The Lexus just starts to pull away. It's 4/10 now, 5/10 soon. And yeah, it's just extremely difficult for anyone to get past the Lexus at any point in the race. So it has to be done maybe via strategy. Brian, I feel like he thinks he could be faster than Doug at this point in the race.
Look at how much he gains. Look how much he gains in the braking. That doesn't.
No.
The other Nissan almost at the same part of the track too.
What in the voodoo is going on here, Donovan?
Yeah, seriously. This is like some serious, I don't know, something going on with Nissans in this track. I thought the Nissans were pretty good here, but yeah,
the rear gets loose.
A huge drift. Tokyo drift. And he pits early. Goes for. I don't blame him when something like that happens. Sometimes it's just good to get in the pits and kind of
look at this.
Have a moment.
It's another position for Dick Zipperburn Jr.
Yeah.
Sometimes the best thing to do is not do anything at all, and that's what Dick Zipperburn Jr. is doing right now. Up from P11 into P7 after only 14 minutes of the race. Basically not doing anything except watching the cars around him end themselves on their own, right? So Philip Mueller, Thomas Olhausen, we had the incident with Paulie Hartman earlier. Jack Krause, of course, went by. So if Jack Krause didn't go by, he would be sitting in P6. But of course, with Ethan Marvin being in P2, he's going to need a heck of a lot more than P7 to even consider himself close of earning that D2 Silver Championship. Riley Greer here trying to chase down Rowdy Burns, Sean Curcio for that P11 spot. Pretty good race from both Burns and Greer at the moment. Of course, these two drivers are used to fighting each other on track, but typically a little bit farther back. Both have potential to be quick. Just sometimes things get a little bit unlucky, as we have seen with a few of the other drivers this week. One thing to note is that Amos Movo still P1, still holding that fastest lap, but time is falling away. So last lap was a 34.507, and it was invalid. So track limits could come into play here. Haven't seen any drive-throughs at the moment, which is a good sign, but we have seen maybe some track limits. We see Amos, of course, having that last lap invalid. Maybe that means some track limits. Of course, if you get 4 warnings, 3 strikes is the last one you can get, and the 4th one is going to be a drive-through. And Misano, one of the longest pit lanes of the season, of the calendar overall, not what you want to get in terms of getting a drive-through here. It's going to be very costly. You don't want that to happen.
Yeah, not only is it a super long pit lane, but it's a super short lap. Well, maybe not super short, but shorter of a lap. So yeah, the drive-throughs are extremely costly here, and yeah, very easy to get with the track limits here. It's pretty punishing on the track limits. I feel like it's not that hard to avoid going out of track limits unless you're pushing. When you're pushing and you're just really trying to maximize absolutely everything, it is really easy to get the track limits there. But yeah, Brian Anderson's still just stuck behind the beautiful Lexus ahead. I wonder if he is going to try a bit of an undercut, like we were saying, undercut less viable here due to that pit lane, but still definitely could undercut, especially when you're this close behind the car in front of you.
Absolutely, and I mean, you know, following another car is only going to hurt your rear tires even more as you're picking up a little bit of dirty air. You're going to be struggling for traction ever so slightly. Another yellow flag is going to be car 415 of Matt Artem and Sean Williams get together in a bit of an accident here at the hairpin. Let's see what happened to the Ferrari here. It's going to be a McLaren right behind him. Let's see what happened here. Kind of traverses it. Okay, we did see. Ooh, it was a big spin for Sean Williams, and Simpson does dodge it, but he's facing right into Matt Artem. Big bonk there for the V10 of the Audi. Oh my goodness,
that is
not what Matt Artem wants to see. Yeah,
yeah, that is not what either driver wants to see. Either facing around right at the end of a blind turn, and yeah, it looked like Vargas got like. I don't know if something happened, but it looked like he was going quite a bit slow, and Sean Williams had to take evasive action there. Not great race for obviously Sean Williams, a teammate of Paul Hartman, but yeah, that team has not had a good outing tonight. Passing, he held the brakes like a good boy, though. He did hold his brakes, so he's going to be avoiding any sort of holding brake penalties.
Look how close Brian Anderson is to Doug Mitchell. It's just absolutely impenetrable, this Lexus Fortress at Misano here, but he does go a bit wide through turn 2. Is that going to invite Brian Anderson to get us, sneak up at the inside of the Japanese machine that is the Lexus, car number 10? Of course, Doug being the back-to-back. Oh, he does go a little bit wide, does have a little bit of a window. Yeah. Turn 4, is Brian Anderson going to have that opportunity to pass him side by side through turn 5 and 6? But it's not going to be enough as Doug holds the inside line, and Alexis just powering past the Lamborghini once again. This is going to get a bit old for Brian Anderson. Is he going to think about pitting here? Is a real question.
Yeah, and that really opened up, or I guess closed them down rather, to Kevin Nichols behind. It's whenever you go side by side through that Sector 1 complex there at the end of Sector 1, it slows you down so much. I mean, we saw that on, what was it, lap 2, where we had the 3 wide with Zipper Burn and others. But, a bit of contact? No, they stay.
It's very
they're
close.
Trying to go side by side through where I was saying is such a dangerous spot to go side by side through in terms of, losing pace against, drivers behind. But
look at the pace of the Nissan, just absolutely gaining and the Godzilla on the Ferrari. What a send from Thomas Olhausen. Yeah, I just saw that on the relative on race control. I was like, I want to see what happened there. And lo and behold, it was a pretty ballsy overtake. But that's what you got to do when you're in the fight for the team crown here in D2. Thomas Olhausen doing what he needs to do to get back up there into that position. But right now, Brian Anderson and Matt Higgs, P4 and P8 respectively. Very good position for the team championship, but Kevin Nichols right behind may have something to say about for that P4 position of Brian Anderson.
Yeah, and they're definitely on the back foot. The Nissan team, Thomas Olhausen and Philip Mueller. So they're kind of hoping for a miracle at this point with Brian Anderson and Matt Higgs in pretty good positions. P4, P8. That would definitely secure them the championship at this point. So they're looking. I would think that they're looking to just kind of not do anything too crazy. Although I guess Brian did send it on Doug at turn 4. So I mean, maybe that isn't the case. Maybe Brian still wants that podium.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so tough for the Lambo to do anything. Of course, the gap just continues to fall down after you get off the straight. But once you get on the straight, it's just far too long for the Lamborghini to even put a dent into any of, Doug Mitchell's lap time throughout the rest of the lap. I mean, he's still very close here. It's only 3/10 separated between the Lamborghini and a Lexus. But on corners like this, the Lamborghini may have a good exit, but the Lexus just ever so slightly walks away. Look, it's even pushing itself a little bit further away. It's the reverse gravity effect. The Lexus just absolutely has no parachute whatsoever. Could just go, breaks a little bit early there for the Lambo. Just has that much more min speed, that much more mechanical grip through the mid-speed, low-speed corners. The Lexus just not having that cornering capability as the Lamborghini does. And, of course, the brakes of the Lamborghini are just that much better. So, he closes up that much in the braking zone through turn 4, through turn 5 and 6. the Lexus has a very good run, and there's that gap again. It's about half a second, about close to 6/10 now. Riley Greer gets past what looks like by Rowdy Burns. Actually, hold on. Thomas Olhausen into the pits. Okay, I saw a car was falling away. I was hoping there wasn't another incident for our championship contender, but yeah, it's going to be extremely frustrating for Brian Anderson. Maybe the undercut is going to be something that he needs to bust out of his pocket right now.
And I wonder if he's going to do that. I feel like this wouldn't be a bad lap to come in for Brian Anderson here. We do see Kelvin say Brian box pit confirm. But yeah, we'll see when he does come in. I feel like now would be a good time to come in. Like we were saying, undercut not quite as strong here as it is at some tracks, but when you're just stuck behind a car that you can't get anywhere with, I feel like
he stays out. Oh,
yeah, he stays out. He stays out.
Bucks
So yeah,
Bucks
not wanting to risk the undercut. Yeah. Stay out.
Why? What are you doing? I can't say the other bits, but that's why we have the sensor bleeps, right?
Yep, exactly.
We need to incorporate that so we can have driver radio messages. That would be a pretty cool thing to add. I mean, I'm sure it's a bit harder to do. Everyone would have to be in the same Zoom call or something, or same Discord call. But yeah, it would be a pretty fun addition in terms of the audience perspective, just to hear what the drivers are saying. But right now, as things stand, Amos Melvo, pretty clear of Ethan Marvin. Maybe Ethan just realized I don't have the pace to keep up with Amos in terms of the race pace. But yeah, holding P2 is going to be pretty good for me nonetheless, considering that my rival is P7 at the moment. So it's getting closer and closer between the rivals on track. But points-wise, it's not going to be close after the results shape up. So Brian Anderson is the closest that he has been. But does it matter, Donovan? Absolutely freaking not, because the Lexus just walks away just like that.
What a beautiful machine, right? One thing with the Lexus though, I don't know about you, but definitely for me, I have the tendency to grain tires in it here. I mean, I have a tendency to grain tires in that thing at a lot of tracks, but here, they both come in. That is not what Brian Anderson wants to see at all.
Ooh,
so he missed his.
Close.
Yeah, that was Doug's arriving and driving and not practicing his pit entry there, it looks like. Not knowing how far you could push it. It's a good thing they didn't hit, but yeah, Brian Anderson, he definitely would not like to see that, especially going into the pits with another car and not being able to see your box. That could be definitely frustrating. But yeah, I was saying with the tires, though, I feel like the Lexus grains its tires pretty easily here. So I don't know if that's something that... Wait a second. Oh, Ethan Marvin pit. I was like, where the heck is Ethan Marvin? He just pit, and I missed it.
Yeah, he already pit.
Yeah. So yeah, it kind of an interesting time to pit because he definitely wasn't in an undercutting range unless something crazy happens.
I want to see this gap right here. Brian Anderson moving. Doug Mitchell's probably about to move. Gets on the gas. Oh man.
No.
I think Doug just had a better pit stop because that was not the gap between the two heading into the pits.
Well, seeing Brian's, where his box was, Doug, being the first one into the server, had the very first box, and Brian, definitely had cars in front of him, kind of obscuring his pit box, and I saw he definitely was a little bit slow into the box, so he definitely could have lost a second or two. But yeah, that was not a good pitting situation for Brian Anderson, that's for sure.
Another thing to note, so Ethan Marvin's pit stop was 1 minute and 14 seconds. Also, Jack Krause 1 minute and 14 seconds, but Doug Mitchell and Brian Anderson 1 minute and 18 seconds. So Jack Krause, we could see right behind Brian Anderson now, had a much quicker pit stop then the cars ahead of him. So he did make up all that time in the pit stop between him. But Amos Movo now into the pits. That leaves Kevin Nichols to lead the race along with Rowdy Burns, not too far behind him on track. Actually, about 15 seconds behind him on track, 13 seconds. But a lot of drivers are electing to do their pit stop right now, which arguably, like I said, probably the best time. You know, you want to do it right in between, you know, when the race hits that midway point, just to avoid, you know, any sort of shenanigans with the rear tires being the way they are. Especially here, Misano is very much known for some pretty heavy tire wear on the rears. But yeah, I mean, it's a very, very good situation for Ethan Marvin to be in, having that good pit stop, just, you know, eliminating any sort of threat from behind that he had of his silver rival Dick Zipburn Jr. here. Right now, having Matt Higgs behind him,
Close.
Mike Gino, Selena Boonstra, a lot of fast drivers behind him. He's also quick on his own, so we'll see if he can make any inroads with his new tires. But wow, look at this. Amos Movo, I think, had a slow stop as well. Actually, no, he had a minute and 13 time in the pit, but time stop was 32 seconds, so maybe he got moved very slightly. Maybe his pit entry was very, very good. It's tricky to say. But
I don't think
behind.
he had any damage either. I don't know if he fixed damage or something like that. I feel like that's not enough time to be moved.
I mean, he did have a faster pit stop than Ethan Marvin, but Ethan Marvin now only a second behind. So
Yeah.
something must have happened. Maybe his outlet was pretty bad.
Yeah.
So
It
now
could've
he's
been
got
his
to
pit
worry about the
entry,
Lexus.
too.
The Lexus, you know, coming within that slipstream time. You know, 6/10 is the magic number, and he's only about 7/10 behind. Now it's 6/10 through the high speed. So Amos Movo having that very comfortable gap, of course, at the end of the stint, but at the start of the stint was also having to worry about Ethan Marvin right behind him. So maybe if Amos Movo, just like I said, keeps his head down, drives with some calm composure, he's going to just be able to convert this into a win. But Ethan Marvin, nothing short of slow here. Of course, P2 provisionally after the pit cycle ends. He's been quick. He's been very, very fast this week.
Yeah.
Oh, he's crabbing. What was that?
There is something wrong with his connection.
Whoa! Is this a prick of the Lexus?
Oh no, he is.
This could be very bad for Ethan Marvin. Oh, wow.
Oh my goodness, that is terrifying.
Oh, I think he knows he's having. Yeah, because he's slowed down.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh no, dude!
Wow.
A disconnect would prove so unlucky for him. Oh no!
This is terrifying to watch.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're new to ACC and wanting to learn how to drive, I can switch up the view and click on Amos Movo, because crabbing is not the way to gain pace from your car. I think he's back in the server now. He's about. Oh, he's teleporting in front of him now. Oh my God! Look at Ethan Marvin. Look at the pace he has ahead of him now. Oh no! Whoa! No! What has happened?
What is happening?
No, Ethan, no!
Is Ethan the only one that this is happening with?
I think so, because Amos is
Do we
fine.
need to look at someone else? We might need to look at
I'll click on
someone
Doug.
else.
How about
Yeah,
that? I'll click
yeah.
on Doug. See, Doug's not
We'll
lagging.
click on another
What's going on
Lexus.
with Ethan?
I have no idea. That is that's terrifying though. But yeah, I think we need to click off of him to avoid any commentators'
He's
curse.
still lagging backwards. Look at the track map. He just lagged back
I
like
know,
25
I know.
feet. Oh, he's still lagging out of the server. This is not good. Anyway,
know.
we still have this battle for provisional P3 between Doug Mitchell and Brian Anderson. Right now, not what Ethan Marvin wants. All this lag is only going to hurt him, as he is losing a lot of time to Amos Movo. But at the same time, of course, not concerned at losing that P2. Maybe he's going to lose to P3, P4, but really needs to pay attention to where Dick Zipburn Jr. is on track, because that is his title rival for the Silver Championship. Of Brian Anderson still trying to hang on to the rear of Douglas Mitchell, but it's proving even increasingly difficult. Sam Serino with our first drive-through of the night, I believe, currently sitting P19. Of course, you know, exceeding those track limits, not ideal. So pour one out for Sam Serino, a drive-through in the last race of the season. The car has seen better days. I believe he was involved with an incident with Curtis Lee at the beginning of the race. But yeah, it's I don't know. This is tough to say, guys. With Ethan Marvin, I think he's more or less
Stabilized?
fine now. He looks a little bit more stable, which is good. Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna just be hoping for the most chill of 30 minutes that he could get. I don't think he is gonna be, too upset with taking home a P2. So yeah, he's just gonna be, I'm assuming, just hoping everything stays smooth and he could secure that P2.
Ryan, I believe the damage to Ethan Marvin's car is probably his Ethernet cable, to be honest. I feel like that's the only tangible damage we can think of. Apart from his tires, of course, being a little bit cooked after that half spin that he had. But yeah, it's definitely not ideal, considering that you're still in a race for the title, for the Silver Championship, with your rival, of course, seemingly to have a more stable connection. But this is our version of mechanical failures, right? In real life we can have engine failures, and in the sim world we have ISP disconnects. So
Yep.
they're really
Both of us are very familiar with that.
Oh,
right?
I'm extremely familiar with it, Donovan. Don't even get me started on what happened this season. But yeah, I'm not a fan of Cox. Let me just tell you that. But Matt Higgs trying to track down Dig Zipper Jr. for another move into, I think it is the top 7 as things stand right now. So Jess Osborne and Justin Suckham haven't pit yet, but Matt Higgs now has to defend from Mike Gino behind. The McLaren, the sole remaining McLaren, I believe. No, Jason Allen is still racing. He's racing Riley Greer for position right ahead of him. Courteously, there are only 22 drivers left on track. Riley Greer taking a very wide entry into turn 10. But that's going to give him a pretty strong exit onto the back straight, which I don't think Jason's going to be able to do anything with that. But Amos Movo having that fastest lap just set. Oh my God, guys, you do not want to know what lap he just did. He did a 33.39. Spin's absolutely flying. Send him to D1 right now. Ethan Marvin does a 33.5. So it looks like his connection has evened out pretty well. I don't want to, jinx anything, but this is just 27 minutes to go, Ethan. You can do it, man. Just hang in there. Yeah. But 27 minutes of pain could be attributed also to Brian Anderson. Selena Boozer with a drive-through. P13. Yeah. Oh, that's gutting. That's really unfortunate. So she's going to serve that right now. She's going to go to the back of the pack, falling from, I believe, was the top 10 position all the way to P last. Now, Brian Anderson right on the tail of Doug Mitchell. Alexis just having too many legs. It's hit like they won too many times. Oh, but Brian Anderson gets very close into the braking zone. Of course, Alexis not the best under the brakes, especially with a lot of fuel, but it's getting to that hot lap point of the race where the fuel comes down, and the braking points are just going to get deeper and deeper.
I can't imagine how frustrating that is for Brian. Maybe it's because I'm always in the Lexus, but yeah, just having so much pace on the braking, compared to the car ahead. Yeah, it feels a bit frustrating, I'm sure, dealing with that through these heavy braking zones. Yeah, look at that. Look at how much he gains on him through the braking, and then just any straight, and Doug just pulls away.
So Justin Suckham from P2 comes into the pit, so that's going to re-promote Amos Movo back into the top 2 position. Jess Osborne, the sole remaining driver to not have pit yet. This race with 25 minutes to go. I mean, in the Porsche, I feel like that's a double whammy. Of course, Misano being extremely tough on the rears. Misano, pretty gruesome track on tire wear. Porsche as well, not known for the best rear tire kind of lifespan. It's not great at maintaining those, but yeah, it's going to be, I imagine when Jess comes into the pits, it's going to be like a breath of fresh air. But Brian Anderson not giving Doug any room to breathe some of that fresh air that we just mentioned. But of course, Doug just has a clear track ahead of him. No one else to worry about. No blue flags. No one battling for position. Ethan Marvin, of course, is a bit farther up the road. Still catching Amos Movo ever so slightly, but it looks like my stream is lagging a little bit there. But Brian Anderson still holding position. Ethan Marvin having a stable connection. Rowdy Burns gets up into P12, passing Philip Mueller, which I imagine the Lamborghini guys are going to be very, very satisfied with that, seeing Philip Mueller struggling. Not the best race for the Nissan drivers, of course. It was expected them to have a bit better of a race, considering that I think the Nissan's okay here. I mean, you can ask Kelvin Lau how he feels about it, but definitely not the easiest car. But yeah, it's tricky. It's a tricky racetrack.
I feel like, yeah, it's definitely, or it's likely probably a better qualifying car than a race car here. I just feel like it's. I mean, I have mentioned many times how I struggle with race pace in that thing, but yeah, it pulls really hard out of the like turn 4 or 5 kind of section. It pulls hard out of turn 10. But yeah, it's a tricky car to drive, especially as the tires wear.
Yep, 23 minutes to go. Jess Osborne finally gets into the pits, and that's going to be pit cycle completed. Amos Movo actually having a bit of a stinker last lap with a 39.1, so that was 5 seconds slower than Ethan Marvin last lap. So the gap to leader has decreased to about 5 seconds overall. So Ethan Marvin's whatever issue that he had earlier, which put him back a lot of time and had a little bit of damage somehow, just teleported into Amos's car. Maybe some DDoSing from Zip Jr. I'm kidding. I'm not entertaining that idea. But it's
Zip Senior is
Zip Senior. He's on it. He's trying to give his son any chance to win the silver championship. Of course, we're not saying that's what happened, but it would be pretty funny if it did.
OBDA has nothing to do with this.
Absolutely nothing. No commentator's curse here. Matt Higgs trying to pull another World Diva move as he did on Paulie Hartman on another championship contender. Of course, not for gold this time, so maybe not as much of a, keen overtake to make for P7 here. But hey, as a racing driver, if you're able to make a pass, you're going to make the pass, right? So if we go racing, right? You want to see some fine racing. We have Brian Anderson in P4 trying to do whatever he can to force Douglas Mitchell to make a mistake. But that Lexus is absolutely impenetrable. Just ask Joel Moffitt from last season following Doug Mitchell in that train at Nürburgring. I mean, what a time for him, am I right?
Yeah. Speaking of Moffitt, different Moffitt, but we have another drive-through from Mason Moffitt.
No.
Yeah. Bummer to see. Yeah.
Oh, he hits the pit. I'm sorry. I'll click away. I'm sorry.
Yeah, a bit of a. Oh, that's always a bummer. But yeah, we were saying, easy to do here. I don't want to say, say that it'll be the last, because it, might not be, but hopefully that's the last of the drive-throughs.
Yeah, I mean, I could say that Doug can just kind of park it in the slow speed corners, because what's Brian going to do? Hit him? No. Yeah. You can't just hit him. You can't do that. That's not allowed. You can't do that. But yeah, I mean, this is what I like about the Lexus when I did drive it, and what I don't like about when I drive against it is that, of course, if you qualify very high, right, you can obviously seek out the pace in qualifying from the Lexus. It's all about the mid-speed corners or the slow-speed corners. It doesn't have as much rotation as some of the mid-speed. It doesn't have the greatest traction. Its electronics are pretty all right, but in terms of qualifying pace, it's all about getting that time in the slow speed. You see Max Stiggs having a bit of an issue in turn 14. We'll see what happened out there. It looks like it was Jason Allen. Jason Allen killing his Asian brother, and what happened here? Max Stiggs having the inside, Jason Allen around the outside. I think, the McLaren. Oh, it's a little bit of a tap. Very close on track there. Oh my goodness.
So it looks like maybe a bit of a problem over the curbs. Yeah, I think Jason was relatively fine there. I guess we'll see later. But yeah, he seemed to basically be doing his own thing there, though. Oh, we have another drive-through. Justin Seckham.
Another McLaren driver, Justin Seckham, in P18. Yeah. Am I wrong, or was P18 the culprit of a drive-through 3 times already? There was Sam Serino in P18, right? Then it was Mason Moffitt, and now it's Justin Seckham. And look who's next up after P18. Selena Binster also had a drive-through, so Selena's going to be back into P18 and then get another drive-through. Max Diggs, I believe he just pulled over and is just going to park it. So that's going to be his, of course, his silver title hopes over for this race for this season. Brian Anderson trying to finish, of course, this season in style, finishing on the podium. I believe, as things stand, going to be crowned champion no matter what. Having that drop race of a P4 finish of 85 points is going to be enough to hurdle him over Paulie Hartman into that P1 spot for the championship. So very, very gutting race for Paulie. He's having a lot of fighting around him. Oh, very close. Bryson has to check up, and like I said earlier, Doug kind of just has to park it on the apex of every corner and just get a good exit, and it's just going to be impossible for Brian Anderson to pass him.
Yeah, he's definitely definitely seems to be doing that. Yeah, that's definitely, like we were saying. And look at the gap. Look at the gap he pulls on his back. Great.
This is unfair. Look at that.
Crazy. Poor.
What in tarnation is this?
Fortunately, Brian isn't, like we've said, he's already won, and as it stands right now, he's got both championships. Speaking of team championship, between Philip and Jason
Allen up the inside of the Nissan drivers. The Nissan's struggling this race, and Jason Allen having a pretty strong comeback. Scooby-Doo getting past another driver there, so pretty strong showing from Jason Allen this week. Of course, apart from the very unfortunate incident it was tangled up with Paulie Hartman, with Zip, with Gino. A lot of parties involved. It's just unfortunate for Jason, but 20 drivers left on the track. Wow, how many people left?
Yeah, not a lot of. Yeah, there's quite a few RTGs. To begin with, there were not a ton of drivers starting this race, but Jason Allen has made up a lot of positions with those with both passing and disconnects and drive-throughs. So he's almost up to where, because he started next to Gino, or at least was next to Gino after lap 1. I don't remember his exact starting position, but so he's almost made it back there. Decent race for Jason, all things considering. For a bad race, it's a pretty good race, it seems like.
Dick Zipperman Jr. trying to do all that he can do with his silver championship in the balance, trying to get the inside on Kevin Nichols. It's going to invite Matt Hicks from behind. He's going to have the inside line on Kevin Nichols. It's going to promote him into P2 overall for silver. What a move for Zipperman Jr. there. He's busting out all the cards that he has in his pocket right now, just trying to get even as close as possible to Ethan Marvin, just in case maybe another disconnect happens. Maybe, I'm sure he was aware of what happened, having to look for his rival on track, knowing that he's got the pace. Zipperman Jr. doing everything he can. Up next on the road is Jack Cross, but he's pretty far away. And am I seeing something going on here? Doug Mitchell's off the road. Oh my God! Brian Anderson does get past.
For sure.
What happened here?
Yes, both Brian and Jack Cross, it looked like. Jack Cross is super far back there, so there had to have been some contact.
Maybe. Oh, up the inside is maybe a little bit of a, oh my God! And there's a bump.
There was bump.
Oh, Doug has a hefty shot with the wall, and that's always gonna cut the track. Is that? He's very lucky that's not a DQ. I'm not gonna lie. He's very lucky.
Because I guess it's in the last sector where.
Look at this!
Really
it's still more
dangerous.
battling side by side. Kevin Nichols with trying to get the position back from Zipperman Jr. for P6, and Matt Hicks is right behind now. So look at this. Kevin Nichols side by side, Matt Hicks, Zipperman Jr. is looking back at this right now, and having these two drivers side by side is not going to be. It's exactly what you want to see behind you. These two drivers fighting for position, but there's going to be a little bit of tap. Matt Hicks goes off track, and he's going to get the position. Arguably made the pass off track, but Kevin Nichols is right there, trying to get any bit of road ahead of Matt Hicks, any overlap of Matt Hicks, just having the superior traction, having pit a little bit later, I believe, in Kevin Nichols, and does get past the other silver driver for that P7 spot.
Yeah, Higgs there, having the slipstream of the Porsche ahead is always nice when you're battling a car. So, oh, Brian
I think Jack
Anderson
Krause got past him.
losing, yeah, out to Jack Krause. Huh? Yeah, wait, I don't know when that happened.
Well, if there's anything else to be annoyed about apart from having to slipstream a Lexus, it's about to have to slipstream a car that is the same make as yours.
Yeah.
And now the Lexus is right behind Brian Anderson. Is now going to have a send up the inside of turn 8. I don't think so. I think he knows that he's going to have the straight line speed, even with Brian's slipstream. I mean, let's just look at how close it is. Right now, it's about 2/10 from Brian Anderson to Doug Mitchell. That gap, I imagine, is going to close pretty rapidly. As we saw earlier this race, that the Lexus just having an absolute monster run on a Lamborghini. Is it going to be a repeat of what happened earlier this race? No. Brian Anderson has that simple overspeed. Oh, but he goes off track a little bit, and that's going to invite Brian Anderson. Oh, it's going to invite Doug Mitchell to get past Anderson once again. Oh, but he parks it on the exit again. Doug Mitchell being a little bit cheeky there, of course, but I mean, it's racing. It's still legal to do to be slow off the corner. And now he's got to worry about Brian Anderson still being on him. Jack Krause through from a very, very good race from him, up 9 spots from P12 to P3. What a race for Jack Krause, but it's not over yet.
Yeah. Yeah. What a situation there for. I mean, Doug definitely knows how to drive that Lexus and how to keep a Lambo behind, and yeah, that's basically park on the park on the apex there.
So people are asking about championship. Oh, wait a minute. 12 minutes to go. We need to do some speedy calculations here.
Yeah,
so
we need to do that here.
Anderson
Ooh.
is 495, and his drop race right now is 85, which is a P4. So if Brian Anderson finished P5, which is going to be replacing his drop race of a P4, that's going to put him at, it looks like, if I can do some math, it's going to be 580. So 580 points. His drop race is 85 points. I believe that's Joel Moffitt.
Wait, okay, so he has two. Let's see. I mean, Brian had quite the consistent season. So yeah, we're getting
there's no chance, unfortunately, for Amos to catch, even if he did get pole position and fastest lap. I mean, Amos is doing all that he can do to put himself in that spot to win the championship, but it's just not going to be enough after that one Bathurst race. You know, having the 2 drop races, it's so beneficial for Brian, considering that he's been so consistent. Apart from, I think it was just one race where it wasn't the best result for him points wise, but
it was P6 though. I mean,
it's a respectable finish, isn't it? Right? It's
P6.
It's a respectable finish, but I mean, he wants to get a P4, and he does get a very nice slipstream on the Lexus here. He's going to have a look on the inside. Is he going to send it? Doug Mitchell closing the door. Oh, but he says he goes to the send. It's going to be side by side through turn 7, and he pushes the Lambo past the Lexus, but he's going to have another run. The Lexus is side by side with the Lamborghini. I'm switching between the cars because there's something to choose from. The Lexus is going to have a huge run once again on the Lamborghini on the back straight, and it's going to be completely impossible for Brian Anderson to block the Lexus. He's going to get rid of the slipstream, but look at the Lexus just completely push itself past the Lamborghini on the outside. It doesn't matter. Maybe it does matter. The outside is going to be a bit difficult for the Lexus to pass the Lambo on the inside. He tries to go for the inside line. Oh,
yeah. Brian learned from the early in the race.
Oh, but he didn't learn. Oh, he bump a little bit on exit, and Doug Mitchell gets past him again for P4. But arguably, it might have been a little bit 2 elbows out. He just pushes to pass him there. But, I mean, Brian did overshoot the corner, tries to get a bit of traction down on the Lamborghini against the Lexus. But it's so close between these two on track. I mean, what a battle in the last race of the season. These two aren't even fighting for anything at this point in time. It's just bragging rights, whoever finishes in front of each other.
Yeah, I think they're just... I mean, they're both, you know, staples of the league, obviously. Doug being admin, Brian being one of the longest standing members of SRA. So yeah, they might be just enjoying battling each other. Maybe we'll Brian might be a little unhappy with following behind and then the contact, because these two are definitely not staying out of each other's doors, that's for sure.
I mean, use all the paint that you're given, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with trading paint, as the cars go side by side with each other. But Brian Anderson, there's just so much that Doug can do and so little that Brian can do with the cars that they've chose for this season. We see behind also, Zipperburn Jr. is trying to keep Matt Hicks behind for that P6 position. I mean, first of all, what a race from Zip Jr. He's up 5 spots from where he started. Mike Gino up 6 spots from where he started. Rowdy Burns up 7 spots from where he started. But Jack Krause is the leader of passing cars this race, and he's up 9 spots from P12, going from P12 to P3. Still on that podium. Can he keep that podium? It's a real question with only 8 minutes to go. But Zipperburn Jr. holding that P6, Brian Anderson trying to get back that P4 from Doug Mitchell. It's been an absolute tussle between these two drivers. 2 different makes of cars makes for really good racing, especially with the variety of corners that we have here. But I imagine Brian Anderson is probably one of the more agitated drivers this race, having to follow the Lexus straight line speed the entire race. It's just tough for him.
Yeah, it is really tough. Yeah, that the Lexus is definitely something special, isn't it?
I mean, I would tend to agree with you, but having raced against it with ARC, I mean, it's like when I did the undercut at Brands Hatch, I was like, oh yes, I'm gonna get past everybody, and then ARC comes right out ahead of me on cold tires, misses a few corners. Does it matter? Absolutely not. He just powers past me no matter what. I mean, I'm in the Mustang, and it's like, okay, maybe I have a little bit of counterplay to this. Nope. The Lexus is just absolutely monsters past every car, no matter what it is on the straight line. There's just nothing to do about it.
Yeah. It's even on a track. I actually almost feel like it's this is the kind of track where it's almost more pronounced, because it is a hard track to pass at. You kind of have to be creative with your braking zones, and the Lexus just gains so much on the straights that just ends up being very difficult. So
I mean, right now it's 5/10. I mean, we can see after Sector 1 how much the Lamborghini closes up. I mean, even this braking zone, look at that. That's a 10th right there. Gets the power down, loses a little bit of time on Doug Mitchell as there was a bit of wheel spin, couldn't get the traction down, but in the braking zone here as well. I mean, he just closes up so much. That's 2/10 in the braking alone. And I imagine both drivers are experiencing some heavy traction loss with the rear tires just giving out more and more each lap. 6 minutes to go. This race is far from over, considering that I see a few drivers having that red lap time. So Ethan Martin, one of them, Jack Krause, another one of them. Drive-throughs are still in the mix.
Yeah, well, Doug Mitchell with this lap being invalid. But yeah, so definitely drive-through still a talking point. That is something that people have to be very careful with, especially those in good, championship contentions. Selena Boonstra with
P17. Oh,
Selena. Yeah, second drive-through for Selena. But yeah, I mean, that just goes to show it is easy to get track limits here.
F part 2 for Selena Boonstra there.
Yep.
It's just unfortunate. But Amos Movo controlling this race from start to finish. One thing that's just been very difficult to control is this Lexus trying to keep the Lamborghini behind. Look how close Brian Anderson. He's seemingly trying to push him along, give him a little bump draft for Lexus as if it needs it on the straights. But look, I mean, Brian Anderson just so close. I'm surprised the bumper of the Lexus isn't as damaged as it probably would be, because the Lambo just has such better brakes compared to the latter option of the Lexus. He just has to slow down in the middle of the corner there. It's just so much you can't do compared to the Lexus. It's possible to pass.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And with how much he has to slow down, and then he just gains it all back instantly. I mean, it's definitely crazy. And Yeah, I imagine. Yeah, Brian's not feeling too great. Especially if he's seeing that. You're gaining so much on the braking zone, you don't want to not see where your competitor is in front and then teleport, into a different dimension. I've actually had that happen with Pat before, back in, what was it, season 11, I think, where I was teleporting, and then next thing I knew, I was literally inside Pat's Porsche when I was in the Lexus.
Oh,
And yeah, that was a good time. That was a good time. But
that was a good
yeah,
time,
so I've been there.
Yeah, so we just saw Brian Anderson ever so slightly go off track there. And it's very, very, very easy to get a warning there. Actually, you could get 2 warnings. It actually tells you initially, no time gained, nothing happened. And then like 2 seconds later, bam, warning. You've been slapped to the track limit, warning, don't get any more. And it's it's going to be tough to manage those. But 3 minutes to go. I think it's going to be about maybe 2, maybe 3 laps to go after this lap. But Amos Mo, like, oh, Brian's going to drive through.
Right, drive through. I was like in just trying to process that, but yeah, Brian has a drive through.
So that's going to promote Zip Jr. into P5 on the road. Can anyone else in front get some drive-throughs? Because if Ethan Marvin finishes in P2 and Zip Jr. finishes in P3,
he needs P3. Yeah,
they
Zip
would be
need
tied, but
P3.
Ethan Marvin would still win. Oh my god!
Yeah, because of finishing positions.
Yeah, if you go to count back, and Ethan Marvin would just have the best overall result of the season between the 2 drivers. Yeah, I mean,
But also this P2. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just coming down to the wire with every single championship, it seems. One that does seem under lock, though, is, of course, the Drivers' Championship for gold. Brian Anderson, you're looking at the champion right now, having a drive-through in the last 3 laps of the race. See Jack Krause having this lap invalid and the last one invalid, so maybe a couple of these drivers are struggling with the track limits. Amos Movo does cross the line for another 2 laps to go as the time stands. But Brian Anderson is going to have to go in for his drive-through right now, because if he doesn't, he's going to get a huge time penalty. Not that it matters, but Brian Anderson drifting across into the pit entry. That's going to relieve Doug Mitchell of a lot of pressure. It's going to promote Dixon Jr., Matt Higgs, Kevin Nichols, and maybe a couple of other drivers after into another spot ahead of them. And yeah, I mean, yeah, Arc, unfortunately, there's no chance for Amos to win the championship. I mean, he's done all that he could this race, but that one Bathurst race just kind of was the nail in the coffin for his championship hopes. Unfortunately, just a huge fall from grace it was for him and for me that race. I mean, I didn't have internet for my own race, and then I wasn't even able to conduct any of the interviews, so it was really sad.
Yeah,
but
that was...
yeah. What a championship, Donovan. It's been
Brian
it's
comes
so tumultuous.
It's crazy, isn't it? So Brian comes out, it looks like right behind. So he's behind both Nissans. I don't think it's still not enough. Here, wait, let me do some quick maths. It's still not going to be enough though for it looks like the Lamborghinis are still going to be able to hold it, but I'll do the maths just in case.
They should be able to hold it. The Nissans really need a P3 and P5 from this because their drop races, I think it's going to be a little bit better than whatever result they're getting now. But the Lamborghinis, Matt Higgs having a P6 is going to be very, very strong for their team championship hopes. So 1 lap to go. Amos Movo's last lap wasn't valid, so he's cutting it close with these track limits. Ethan Marvin behind in P2, Jack Krause in P3. What a race from the top 3. I mean, Amos Movo leading from start to finish, having that insane race pace. His fastest lap being a 33.2. Got Movo at 574 with 2 drop races if it holds right now. Let me check. Yeah, I mean, it's not mathematically possible for Amos to win the championship, unfortunately, because Brian will inherit 85 points from P4, as it says on ACCSM. So that's going to be championship over there. Team championship, I believe, is more than wrapped up. Dixon Jr. into P5, right behind Douglas Mitchell on track. He's done all that he could this race to challenge Ethan Marvin, but Ethan Marvin did have an invalid this lap, so maybe maybe, I mean, he's got one more section to traverse. It's very easy to get track cuts here on this turn 13, 14 section. So Amos Movo very, very cautious through there. Ethan Marvin, let's see if he's cautious. It looks like pretty tame there. But yeah, it's going to be a very commanding race from start to finish for Amos Movo. He's going to go through the last corner. There's a yellow flag between Curtis Lee and Rafcab. Oh, there's a car rejoining onto the racetrack. That's going to be Rafcab right ahead of his teammate, Ethan Marvin. And that's going to be GG's for Amos Movo, winning the last race of the season. Ethan Marvin comes across the line in P2 to win the Silver Championship as things stand pre-penalties, but I don't imagine Ethan got into too many championship gouts or gouts on track. So that's going to be, yeah, it's going to be championship wrapped up for the team. I believe Jack Krause with a phenomenal P3 finish there from P12. And Matt Higgs trying to challenge Zip Burn Jr. to the line, and it's not going to be enough. One more lap, and maybe he could have challenged it, but that's going to be P5 for Zip Jr. He's done all that he could to kind of challenge Ethan Marvin, but it just wasn't enough. Unfortunately, maybe with
his best finish of the finish of the season, though. I mean, P5 is still nothing to scoff at, even with the lower cars finishing.
We're looking at our championship winner right here, Brian Anderson, hitting the wall on entry. Just he knows that it was a hell of a season for him, and I imagine he's going to do some donuts with the damaged front hood, or if he can, he's got to turn that traction control off, or he's going to hit the wall again.
He's just going to hit the wall.
Brian Anderson. We do see a couple of donuts, I believe, in the background. That's going to be. I think that's Rowdy Burns doing some donuts, maybe. There's just a lot of sounds in the background right now. But yeah, our silver winner, Ethan Marvin, taking his in-lap. Amos Movo taking his in-lap. And, of course, we see 984 and P8 right now. Thomas Olhausen taking his in-lap. What a championship battle we've had this season between all the drivers in gold and silver. It was just absolutely phenomenal all race. But as things are at the moment, if some people can confirm, Brian Anderson is your championship winner. Silver championship winner is Ethan Marvin. Your team champions, I believe, are the Rorschach Bros, the Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evo 2 drivers of Matt Higgs and Brian Anderson. So Brian's going to have to do 2 shoeies. So that's going to be something to look forward to, right, Donovan? And what a season. I mean, what word would you choose to describe this season? One word.
A roller coaster.
That's 2 words, dude. You said a
roller coaster. Roller coaster is 1 word.
No, you said a
count.
roller coaster. Come on,
no, A doesn't count.
A
doesn't count. Roller coaster. I'll just say it that way.
This guy. Anyway, I mean, I'm gonna go simple. I'm just gonna say it's been a crazy season, right? It's crazy.
Hey, that's way more than 1 word.
I said crazy, crazy, man, crazy. Anyway, I mean, what a pleasure it was to commentate this season. Of course, we're still got the interviews. We've got plenty of interviews to go through. We have our silver race winner, our silver championship winner, our 2 team series team championship winners, and of course, we have our the podium and the actual drivers championship winner. And I do see a couple of them. I'm going to get Jack Krause in here because I mean, what a podium from Jack Krause it was, starting P12, finishing P3. I feel like maybe this is equal to your Zandvoort race, huh, Jack?
Equal? I don't know if it was equal. I mean, I got gifted so many freaking positions. It was crazy. I think I don't know how much you guys saw, but I would say that I gained 4 positions off of just battles in front of me. I gained a position off of somebody spinning. I gained a position or 2 positions off of Thomas Olhausen just like not accelerating. And then I got 1 off of the pit. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly probably best case scenario race for you starting from P12. I mean, did you know going into the race that you would finish on the podium? How did you feel about practice this week?
I mean, practice, I felt okay. I knew my quali pace was kind of off, but my race pace was fine. I was definitely disappointed in quali. I lost two good laps off of track cuts. So starting P11, I was like, you know what? If I can get up a couple positions, I'll be happy. By the time I found myself behind Brian and Doug in 5th, I was like, yeah, I'm good. This is great. And then, boom. just got the podium. That was kind of sick.
Yeah. That happened a lot this race. I feel like it's just a bunch of boom, here, there, everywhere. Misano is definitely known for some crazy stuff. But I guess one thing to ask about as well, how are you on track limits? Because we saw a lot of drivers, especially in the P18, P17 position, pick up the drive-through. So just curious how you dealt with that.
I was pretty vigilant through the whole race, so I only had two, one kind of midway through, and then one because of tires. So I wasn't too worried.
There you go. I mean, it seemed like an easy race for you, Jack, but it looked pretty awesome from our perspective. A lot of movement up the field, a lot of racing between Brian Anderson and Doug Mitchell. So being able to capitalize on that is just racing, and you were able to handle it to perfection. Donovan, any questions for our podium finisher here?
No, just I mean, I would say that, being in the position to take advantage of stuff like that is definitely still, something to that's still awesome, so it's still an awesome race. So yeah, just great job on
thank you. I was pretty happy with my race pace. So and anywhere I was going to end up, I was pretty solid with that. And yeah, I would just manage to, like you said, keep in the fight, whatever fight was in front of me, and it worked out.
Absolutely. All right, before we send you back to the D2 channel, you got any shout-outs for us?
Just one for you two. I would say wonderful streams, best streams of the year, great season. Always enjoyed watching them back, even when I was spinning myself into the wall a couple times. So good fun. Thank you guys.
Well, that's honestly the best thing that I've heard all day, Jack. You touched my heart.
You must have had a rough day.
No, it was pretty good. It was all right.
That was a good day.
Yeah, I got a job offer yesterday, so I'm pretty content about that. But
sick. Congrats.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. But yeah, this is definitely one to watch back, I think. But yeah, dude, fantastic race. Really mega job, just capitalizing when you can, and of course. It may seem that you felt like it was just handed to you on a silver platter, but you had to be there when you were there.
You got to be there. Yeah,
it's true. You do got to be there. So I'll give myself a little credit for that.
Damn right. And I mean, you had that win in Zandvoort, which is a pretty electric one. Having that offset tire strategy with Brian Anderson, who was actually our D2 champion this season, with Paulie crashing out earlier in the race. So. Listen, you handed it to the champion this season. You beat him on track, fair and square. So that's something to be proud of for sure, right? So
yeah, the two times I was battling him, I managed to beat him. All the other times I messed up. So that was the only reason why.
Yeah, there you go. So you're basically
obviously.
Yeah, you're basically the D2 champion on merit, right? So
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Just count the two like one-on-one battles, and it's just me, no one else.
I mean, maybe next season if we have one, maybe you can challenge for that crown. But until
if I can
then,
iron out any sort of consistency, perhaps. But we'll work on it.
Yeah, we got a whole off season for that. But yeah, Jack, congratulations on the P3. We'll send you back.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good night.
You too.
Pleasure as always, Jack Krause. I mean, it was pretty, like he said, it seemed like a boring race for him. From us, it was pretty electric considering he went up 9 spots from where he started. But, I mean, anything can happen, right? I mean, we talked about with Dick Zipper Jr. starting P11, and so much happened to him around the track. It's just, he made up so many spots as well, right, Donovan? I mean, it's just, you got to be there when you got to be there. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, but moving on to our P2 finisher and our silver winner, Ethan Marvin, you left me earlier this season. Are you going to leave me now? Are you here?
Nope, I'm here.
Okay, epic. So it's a maiden podium this season, and also the silver winner of Division 2 this season. So how does it feel, man? Congratulations.
Feels great. I put in a lot of work at this week at Misano. It's also my favorite track, so I knew it'd be quick here. It's just glad I could put it together and not mess up my pit stop this week.
Yeah, I gotta ask. So, of course, you put in a lot of practice. Did any point in that practice did you have those disconnect issues? Because we saw you crabbing around the track. I'm sure you were a little bit scared considering that you started teleporting in front of Amos Movo, and then your car spun ever so slightly in turn 13. So, was that?
Yeah.
How did you feel in that moment?
I never have those issues in practice. It's only during the races, and I don't really know why that happens. It's not all the time, just every now and then. And it just happened at a really bad time in that one. my ping said no to a battle for P1. So after that, it was a pretty lonely race, though.
I bet it was a Code Brown moment for you, though, wasn't it? Considering that Zipburn Jr. was moving up the order there.
I wasn't even focused on where he was. I was just, laser focused on trying to run a good race and try to catch Amos again after I spun. So I got close. I was 3 seconds off at the end.
Yeah, there you go. Mindset of a champion right there. Focusing on your own race. It's very important, having that just to be locked in, not worried about the cars around you. It's important. So, Ethan, you kind of pinned the nail on the head right there. So, fantastic result there for P2. Very close to P1 there. It was a very small margin between you and Amos. But honestly, I was rooting for you from the start. I was hoping that you would get that pole position considering how much time you put in. But, hey, P2, next best thing, right? So, fantastic job.
I'm definitely happy with it and happy with the championship. So thanks you guys for a great season.
Any shoe ideas right now? So it must have been going through your head. I'm a champion, right? So
I kind of do have an idea going on, but I'm gonna save it and let you guys find out when
love it.
when the stream comes around.
Cliffhanger. Okay, I like it. Yeah, okay.
Love it.
All right, Donovan. Any questions for our P2 and Division 2 silver winner?
No, just huge congrats on the. I'm glad that you could put in the podium on your favorite track and have all the luck go your way, and you did a awesome race. So yeah, huge congrats on P2 and then P1 for the silver championship.
Thank you guys. Have a good one.
Oh, before you go, any shout outs before you go back?
I want to thank Zipperburn for a good competitive season, man. He definitely kept me on my toes, and when I realized that I was still in the hunt about 3 races ago, I really had to dig in and start putting in the laps.
Well, that's pure competition, but also sportsmanship at its finest. Ethan Marvin, you are a worthy champion, my friend. Anyway, fantastic result today. Fantastic job all season long, and it's been a pleasure seeing you battle it out on track with everybody else. So. Thank you for doing what you did on the racetrack, and we'll hopefully see you again next season. So, yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Have a good night, Ethan. Well, that leaves a couple more people. So we're gonna bring in our P1 finisher, Amos Movo. Hello. You here now? Yes. I thought I interrupted you, dragging you in again, which I think it happened 2 weeks ago, right? Yeah, but Amos Movo, unfortunate that you kind of weren't in it to win it for the championship with the 2 drop races, and of course that Bathurst race. But hey, you capitalize when you can, right?
What else? It was a tragic season. What else did I mess up?
I think Zandvoort, right?
Zandvoort was a disaster.
Listen, you did what you could.
It was a disaster. Coda, Jason Allen. But
conscious.
That's all I got.
Listen, if we're not thinking about the championship, I think what you did today, you can be proud of. P1 from pole position. I think it's your 4th or 5th pole position this season to leading from start to finish, having one of the best pit stops on the racetrack, and also just having that fastest lap. You had the Grand Slam this week, even with Ethan Marvin's pace. So electric job from you.
What a stud! Thank you, Ethan. Though, man, very, very quick. My goodness, this week, a lot of pressure right there. Especially after he had especially seeing him in qualifying be on silver, right? So he gets to go out first. Then he sets a 33.2. Like, oh, jeez, I'd be happy with 33.2. 33.4 would be nice, and 33.2 would be really nice, and then sub 33 would be awesome. But he come out with the 33.2. It's like, geez, a lot of pressure right there.
You coped with it brilliantly, Amos, as always.
Bam! 33-1. PB and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, we OBDA boys are very proud of you for that one. So
appreciate that. Hot lap
for life. Yeah, hot lap for life, baby. But I do want to ask, how are you doing on track warnings? Because we saw Brian Anderson get a drive-through. We saw Cindy Boonster get 2 drive-throughs. Not to name call, but
all coming in at the end, weren't they?
Yeah, there were a lot. So.
I was on 2. I was on 1 after 40 minutes. After 20 minutes, and then I was on 2 after about 30 minutes, and then I got my 3rd warning at 9 minutes to go. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, man, this is the end of this. And then eventually, like a couple laps later, I went off track. I'm like, I was butt clinching right on it was like outside of turn 3. And luckily it was just no time gain. But like after that, I was just kind of let off to about 80% laps. But yeah, 3 warnings, and I was nervous for the last couple laps.
I bet. Yeah, I mean it's a tough track. Just these races are 60 minutes long. It may not seem that long on track, but I mean, at least for us, it goes by pretty quickly. But with the track cuts, piling up.
Oh no, yeah, you're counting minutes down. It's like,
it just starts
come on,
to
just
feel
get to the
like,
end. Please just get to the end.
Yeah, that's how Brands Hatch felt for me. I undercut from like lap 3, lap 4. I imagine it felt the same to you as well. It's just, can this race just end already?
Yeah. I'm like, I did my pit stop. I'm like, damn, I still have 30 minutes to go.
I know, yeah. Yeah, but again, it was a mega season for me from start to finish. Unfortunately, things happen. A few unfortunate events happened, but you were worthy of a championship just like anyone else was. It was down to the wire for everyone. But
probably just stay with the Ferrari. I think probably next season, stay with the Ferrari, and
that's not what I heard from you. Come on.
Yeah, I admit this during this race. I decided, you know what, ACC, I'm a Ferrari guy. I'm gonna be 296 and just go from there.
Ew, what? Boring.
I decided, you know what, I think. Well, I watched a motorcycle video earlier. Like, it was like how Ducati got better. Like, man, we need a bike that's easy to ride. I'm like, you know what, my 296 is easy to drive. Why am I gonna go to a harder car? Like, that's just dumb. And so that's what we're doing probably, and then we'll see who we get teamed up with.
Indeed.
Yeah. When is it? Starts next season.
Next season does in fact start next season.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, the qualifying. This is about qualifying starting soon.
We will know next Monday. So I believe the qualifying track will be revealed in about 5 days time. So
my God, that's like super quick. Usually, that's like
this off season is about a week shorter considering so quick shout out to the SRA meetup guys. So it's going to be Doug Mitchell managing the majority of that, but there's going to be a Daytona meetup, the Rolex 24 hours of Daytona. So if you're going, I know Donovan, have you booked your plane tickets yet, Donovan?
No.
This guy, dude, this guy, I swear to God,
last minute right there.
Anyway, yeah, that's going to be happening on the second to last weekend of January, I believe. So if you're going to that, hope you have fun. I'm only about 2 hours away from Daytona, so I might come out and see everybody. But if I won't, then everyone have fun. But Amos Movo, I'm excited to see you next season if you do participate. Super pace this season. Really unfortunate that you didn't have it in for the championship this race. But
GG to Brian. Shout out to Brian for his consistency. And
there you go.
GG to him, man.
I was about to ask you if you had any shout outs, so there you go. There's one.
Yeah. There's one. Okay, how many we got? What else we got? I don't know. Shout out to Riley for building the sim rig with me.
There you
really
go.
happy about how it's
load cell,
really getting comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I hit these curbs and like I feel like, man, like damn, I hope everything's gonna be okay. I hope nothing's breaking when I hit these curbs.
Amos, that's what love feels like.
Love?
Yeah, love.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, well, I just love sim racing, dude. I don't know.
No, but I do feel good getting in the rig. It's like, all right. Everything feels
rubs hands. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, there's always a smile on my face.
That's good.
Any other shout outs to the event runners, because this ACC's dying and all that, so it's cool that they're still gonna do everything. I don't know. Shout out to the family. A whole lot. Shout out to the simulation overlords.
Shout out to the Chiefs not making the playoffs.
Yeah, they suck. It's okay.
I knew I was gonna get it with that one.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, obviously, you guys, thanks for commentating our division.
Oh, there it is. Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
I know you're waiting for it. Man, I'll save it for the last.
I was like, is he gonna say it?
Always. And shout out to the competitors. Thanks for D2 and the rest of the racers for racing. Thanks for racing with me, guys.
Awesome. Well,
we're gonna.
we're gonna. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Donovan, anything else for a race winner?
No, let's just let him go to bed.
Yep,
Stuff was
bedtime.
good.
Yeah.
Lap 1 was good. I'm happy I got ahead of him lap 1.
Yeah,
Yeah,
was
good enough
crucial.
start, I guess, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super.
Well, watch replay. Listen to you.
There you go. All right. Well, Amos Movo, congratulations again on the race win, the Grand Slam of the last race of the season. Last race of 2025 in Division 2, Season 16 in SRA. So, yeah, we'll send you back.
Peace.
Peace.
I was like, maybe I can hold him up.
I accidentally left myself.
I was
How did I do that?
By myself here?
That's crazy. Anyway, now for the main event, we're going to bring in Brian Anderson and Matthew Higgs, the championship duo, the tandem, the Rorschach Bros, the Lamborghini Bros, whatever you want to call them. Madhouse, Champion Motorsports on top. Brian Anderson, winner overall of Division 2. Matt Higgs, his teammate, champions together. Congratulations, guys.
Woo!
Woo! Champagne everywhere. Let's go.
What? Yeah.
Yeah,
Brian,
I gotta break it out.
Yeah, so
hard fought.
Yeah, hard fought. Let's start with Brian. Of course, winner overall. I mean, super consistent season. Your drop race ended up being what actually solidified it for you ahead of Paul and Amos Movo. Amos, of course, doing all that he could. Having that Grand Slam finish of a pole position, a fastest lap, and the race win. But your drop race was a P4 finish. I mean, you don't really see that every season. Having a P4 be your drop race, a lot of people would just take that on a regular. I mean, Matt Higgs, your slower teammate, would have loved to do that, but
excuse me.
I'm kidding. Anyway, I know, but
are you a spy?
Super consistent all season, Brian. I don't think. I mean, never a foot wrong. Almost. How about you talk about your season? I can say enough superlatives about it. Talk about how your season went, how your championship, how you felt going into this race, everything. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I've never, as long as I've been in SRA for the 13 seasons I participated, I've never had as consistent of a season as this. So I knew this was my first chance to actually win a driver overall championship. So I put in the effort to really keep that consistency going. It paid off. The last 2 races were my worst. Not the way I wanted it to go, but yeah, I'm happy it still worked out because of that previous work I put in early on. But it's just been super fun. I'm really sad, honestly. I was looking forward to a hard battle with Paul this last race. I knew that I had the advantage. I think I had to finish ahead of him only if he were in P4 or above. If he finished P4 or below, I think it was over. So I knew I had the advantage, but I wanted it to be a straight fight. I heard over the comms that he had, essentially crashed and quit the race. I didn't know exactly what happened. I think I just saw it in the race review, but it's just, really sad to see it end that way. I enjoyed fighting him all season long, keeping track of the standings. Little bit of trash talk. We're both in Champion Motorsports, so I think we both said that we wish we were fighting someone that we didn't like, so that we could be more, aggressive and. So yeah,
it makes the trash talk more fun.
Yeah, but we really respect each other. It was great racing with him, against him rather. So hopefully we'll get more of that. And yeah, sorry to see it didn't work out for him in the final race. And been enjoying driving with Matt. I'm super happy to be back in the Lambo. This is where I started. I drove the OG Lambo for many seasons. It was my go-to. I've kind of moved away, tried to make a bunch of different cars. So, 13 seasons, started in the Lambo. I'm finally back in the Lambo, and I finally get to win a driver's championship. So I'm just super happy I get to do it in this car. I think that's pretty much sums it up. I'm super happy.
Yeah, better late than never. And I mean, you mentioned Paul as well being in that championship fight. So I think between the 3 of you, with Amos Mo, of course, kind of just being out of contention for that last race, I think the 3 of you were all worthy of a championship. Paulie had his redemption
Agreed.
arc. Both of you have been in SRA for so long. I mean, between you two, I think it's almost at least 250 races, right? I think at least 250 races. So, which is ridiculous. I mean, we only have 8 races a season, and 250 races combined. That's an insane number, right? So, I think if it was up to me, I'd crown both of you guys champion. I think both of you deserved it. But there can only be one, and you were there when it mattered. Yeah, let's move on to Matt. Sitting in the background, of course, minding his own business. But you had that monster pass on Pauly at the start of the race, which I guess could have gotten in the head of Pauly. He lost out to the teammate of his championship rival. I mean, that must have felt electric for you.
Oh, like that move, it was super risky, and I knew because obviously he got ahead of me on the inside going to turn, I want to say turn 4. So I had to get a good run to the straight, and it also helped that Olshausen in front had a bad exit, so I held up Pauly, and I knew if I could get past him, I could keep him behind me because it's hard to pass on this track. Brian was ecstatic when I told him, "Oh, I just passed Pauly behind me." And he's like, "Oh, that's great." And then, that we just kind of locked in, head down, no distractions. Obviously worried about track limits, but who isn't at this track?
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely a few drive-throughs. I mean, we were talking about how, your very own teammate Brian Anderson got a drive-through. Not that it mattered, of course, but definitely would have been nice to finish on track battling Doug Mitchell. Actually, I do want to talk about that, Brian. How frustrating was it following Doug for that race? I think it must have been just really annoying.
I told my teammates, I told Doug directly, I said, I never want to see another Lexus as long as I live, unless I'm driving it. The frustration, I could feel the frustration solidify in the air in front of me. That's why I went for the move in the end. I just wanted to get past him. I saw the slip. It happened multiple times, and I just said, this time I'm going for it. And that's the exact time that he kept slipping. So to me, it looked like he kind of turned into me at the exit of, I don't think it was turn 3 or something, but it's because he was just pushing to try to stay ahead. And so he started going sideways, and that's where the contact happened, and he spun around. So, there were many small little attempts where I thought I might go for it, but it was.
You didn't ruin the team champ.
Yeah.
Or your champ either.
Yeah. I'm lucky that didn't happen, but probably what resulted in the drive-through, just me losing my cool, if I'm being honest.
I mean, it's part of racing, isn't it, Brian? I mean, just it's difficult to manage even just not following anybody. Misano is pretty brutal on track limits. It's funny because we were on your car when it happened. I saw that you went off track a little bit at turn 13 before the hairpin. I was like, oh, that was a bit off track. Maybe it's going to do the thing where it says no time gain, and it's like, oh, warning. There you go. And then lo and behold, it happened.
The weird thing,
so,
the weird thing is the final one I got was 2 limits in, like 2 warnings for one. Yep. It was a tiny little off, and it gave me the third and the drive-through all in one.
Yep.
So I thought I had a little bit of buffer. I was driving around with 2 for a while, but then that last one just instant drive-through. So I was not happy with that.
What turn did that happen at?
I'm too furious to remember.
I don't blame you. Don't blame you.
Well, I mean, you could forget about it now, considering that you got the season wrapped up and also the championship wrapped up. So yeah, now comes the time when in classic SRA fashion we do the shoeies. So, boys, Brian, you got to do 2 shoeies. Matt has got to do 1. Any ideas, or we're gonna keep it a secret?
Oh, I've never been in this position before, or even thought about it that I'd ever be in this position. So now I have to get some ideas.
Yep, I'd rather not think about it, so we'll see.
Well, time's a ticking, boyos. You got to get on it. New season's coming very soon, so I better see a shoey.
Yeah, I also want to give a hats off to the team champ, Thomas and Philip, and I think who was third? Was it Jason and Mike?
Yes, I think it was Jason. And
I mean, it was a good fight all season. They were consistent, both of them. So we were doing everything we could to keep the fight going. So that was fun.
Yep, I guess looking at the standings, actually you win the championship by only 6 points. So Amos Movo did all he could, but the gap was too large with the drop race that you had. So
that's crazy.
Goes to show that consistency wins championships. You don't necessarily have to win. Of course, you did have that. You did have a win, I believe. When was it?
I'd won,
was it Suzuki?
Blank.
Coda.
Coda, right? Yeah.
Coda.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
Coda.
you passed Paula
Coda,
in
yeah,
the last lap, right?
Last lap. Last
Yeah,
lap.
There you
pass,
go.
Yeah.
I remember that race.
If you didn't do that pass, you maybe you would have lost the championship. Who knows? But
Oh.
there you
I
go.
don't like that race. I choose to forget it.
Yeah, that was one to forget for everybody.
I think
but
a lot of people choose to
Philip,
forget that one.
Yeah.
Philip chooses to forget. That's the one he would have won.
Yeah, I mean, it's
So-
so unlucky for everybody. But hey, we got the 2 drop races for that very reason, right? So.
Well, that was the reason why you had the 2 drop races.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, as a team, you guys both did your part. Matt won the first race, Brian won the second one. I mean, you guys were hand in hand, doing what you needed to do for that team championship, ultimately securing it on the last race of the season. And I mean, what a season for you guys it's been. For all of D2, it's been a pleasure commentating for you guys. And gotta say, it's been a pleasure. So before we send you guys back, any shout outs for SRA and the people watching back home?
I wanna say thank you to you. Yeah. Thanks to everyone on our team and Champion Motorsports, obviously, for me and
Madhouse too.
Yep. Both of them. We've been the split team, and we showed that cooperation works, guys. You just gotta
stronger.
Gotta love each other. But yeah, thank you for the commentators for doing.
Would it be the same without you guys?
Yeah, week in, week out, always bringing a good show. It's super fun to watch. I just love watching the streams back. So thank you for making that work.
Well,
So
cute. Yeah, I know, so cute. Oh my god, I'm crying. Oh my god.
Wholesome.
Well, it's definitely a send off of ages. So as we head into the final, it's the final race of the season. We're heading into 2026. So I hope. I guess I can tell you guys later, of course, but I hope you and your families have a very happy holidays, and I look forward to seeing your shoeies in the reveal stream for next season. So again, congrats, guys. Brian on the double championship, Matt for the team championship. You did, but both equally deserve your own your shoeies that you will do. So congratulations again, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Take care.
All right, Donovan. I mean, what a season! What a season!
Yep.
I feel almost sad. I mean, I am sad. I feel sad closing the stream out because it's going to be the last time that we're going to see this group of drivers, this calendar, this commentary booth. I mean, maybe we'll return back together, right? But
yeah,
it's what a season. Yeah, I mean, awesome. I can't believe it's over.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean. Well, before we end the stream, we'll just talk about what we're expecting for next season. Of course, let's go to season calendar. Of course, we started off with Silverstone back in October, middle of October. It seems like it was ages ago, but now we're heading into the winter. Of course, a lot of our drivers are Canadian. It's been snowing there since last month, so we're heading into the snowy parts of the year, heading into the first season in 2026. Crazy to say it's 2026. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
crazy.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this season. It's been an absolute whirlwind of emotions across just the racing, the commentating, the battling. There's been so much. I mean, so many ups and downs for a lot of drivers, and what a championship battle between the teams and the drivers. Brian Anderson coming away with the Drivers' Championship and his team, the Rorschach Road Rage Champion Motorsports and Madhouse duo of Matt Higgs and Brian Anderson getting that silver champion or that team championship. And the silver winner is also going to Madhouse with Ethan Marvin in the Lexus, proving to be decisive in the last race. So he had that one good luck. And it proved to be decisive, like I said. So, Donovan, thank you so much for joining me this season. I've been Anton Rishevich. Any closing words, any remarks for you, Donovan?
Nope, not really. I mean, just it was echo basically everything you said. It was a ton of fun commentating this season, and yeah, looking forward to next.
Well, Anyway, thank you so much for everybody watching back home. If you did enjoy the streams on YouTube, we do stream both on YouTube and Twitch for Division 2 and Division 1 on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. So if you did enjoy the streams on YouTube, please do leave a like, as it does, it does show that you guys do enjoy the streams, and subscribe to get those notifications that we are streaming at 9 o'clock every Tuesday when the seasons are running. And of course, we do race as well. Divisions 3, 5, and 4. Division 4 had their finale as well over on YouTube. On Twitch, if you did enjoy the stream, if you're watching over there, you hit that subscribe button. It does cost a little bit of money, but if you do have Amazon Prime, it is absolutely free of charge. Of course, you do pay for Amazon Prime, but that is besides the point. But if you did it, like I said, it's been super fun commentating, and yeah, I hope to see everyone back here again next season. I've been Anton, joined by Donovan. Thank you so much for joining, everybody, and have a fantastic holiday break. See ya.